And we are live. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Gary Beekler. I am temporarily in San Francisco, but on my way out. And this is Nerdrotic. We have a very special live stream temporarily in San Francisco, but on my way out. We are going to be talking to some of the more critical voices, along with you in the chat, of Doctor Who. There's been a lot going on social media lately. And I thought it was a good time for us to all get together and kind of reset RIP Doctor Who or whatever hashtag you want to use, because this franchise is truly dead, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the opinion of everybody here on the panel. Maybe I could be talked out of it. But I'd say it's the most vandalized. It's worse than Star Wars. It's worse than Star Trek. I don't think there's any fixing the show. And if it wasn't for the beer bug, this would be equal to what happened with The Last Jedi. There would be a lot, and there still is a lot of conversation. RIP Doctor Who still autofills on Twitter this many months later. And, we've gotten a lot of sympathy from other fandoms, but I think it's a good time to kind of reset and let you know, like, how bad it really is, how bad an agenda came in and screwed up a show. Quite frankly, this show, I think the people they are making it for were in Seattle at the Chode. Unfortunately, they can't afford streaming services. So, and those who actually can afford stuff and like Doctor Who want nothing to do with this show anymore. It's that bad. So we're going to go around the horn here. I'm going to introduce some of our guests, and other guests may be joining eventually, hopefully. We'll start with Svi, the rabbi from another planet. What's up?
Good evening. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, and it's long overdue, my friend. And we also have.
I don't want to get thanked for coming, but thank you very much.
Oh, sure. And we have Blue Bonnet Whovian, but it also says Medusa Whovian, Blue Bonnet Medusa Whovian. So
that's to a little troll out there that liked to call me that yesterday. So I'm owning it right now. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
Thanks. The honor is mine. We also, because we have full representation here, we have the father, Christopher Miller. Hello, Father.
How are you?
I'm great.
Well, I gotta say, that anger I had after watching The Timeless Children's back.
Yeah, I'll explain that once we're done with the introductions, how it's back for me. We have the master TARDIS Zone now, another owning the hashtag fuck Noel was going on, I guess, out there. That's an achievement. I think that's an achievement.
It is indeed.
Own it, man. Own it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Noel from the TARDIS Zone. And Gary, thank you for the invite.
You're quite welcome. And thanks for being on. And then we have my good friend, Bowles Trek. We haven't talked in a while. What's up, man? I miss you.
Hello, everyone. Hello and hail, Gary. Yeah, I guess it's been, 3 months since we've streamed together?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything's a blur. I am the GOAT today. I will not do the GOAT voice because I need the Dalek device for that. But hello, everyone. RIP Doctor Who. Twitter is a dumpster fire. This is a funeral dirge, folks.
Yeah.
Get depressed.
Yeah, but don't worry, we will have a bit of a laugh along the way. We're not gonna all be sitting here like crying for too long. Don't worry, we'll move on eventually.
They've got me in tears, Noel. I don't know. I'm just so broken up about the names. I'm Bowel Streak, I think is the most
common. I think that was the last I heard. Yeah.
I've been compared to Hitler, Jimmy Savile, the master.
I have a family and a daughter that's been not very nice on Twitter. She's grounded, so she's not allowed on the internet. I have a wife, Mrs. Bowles Trek. She's
I met
delightful.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife
she's
apparently
wonderful.
is an avatar. My wife is an avatar. Apparently, I'm married to an avatar.
Although at one point Jenny was my daughter, so I guess that makes me Peter Davison. It's good fun. Actually, at this point, you can only laugh at it because it is so absurd. If anybody notices, I don't respond to these people with comments. I respond to them with memes and Britney Spears lyrics, and that's my thing.
Well, if that doesn't get them running, I don't know what would.
Oh,
them.
and
Don't
hashtag Ballstreck likes hats. Don't forget that one either.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. That's yeah. We asked them what kind of hats they like, and it drives them nuts. That was our thing a few weeks ago. Actually, I think Blue Bonnet and I were going after.
Oh
them
yeah,
for,
that was
what
when
was it?
we were swatting the twat. Is that what I was calling it?
For like 5 hours one night,
Yeah.
and then we had people begging us to block them, and I actually have unblocked everybody that's been blocked, and
Me too.
It's been fun.
Oh, that is funny. I love it. Wishing you all the best and love. I love that.
Lethal Lightning Down Under. Man, he was he interviewed. Well, we can't say this in front of the father. He interviewed an actress today, an award-winning actress.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Well
done.
done,
She's done very well for herself, hasn't she?
She has.
Yeah, she's the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gareth, if you become a BBC writer, I don't know if you can. Don't you have to pass like the cult test? You have to make sure you probably have to go sacrifice something to Moloch, giant owl or something.
Is he white?
Yeah. Then he's definitely not.
Unless you will sacrifice your children too. That's a little bit.
That's not too far for me, Rabbi. That's only probably 30 miles north of me. Bohemian Grove. So.
Wow.
Oh.
Right.
Right. I know where I'll be staying when I visit.
Oh yeah, come on.
Right.
We'll just hang out there.
You're gonna go. You're gonna try to sneak in there, right?
Yeah, we'll pull in Alex Jones.
Oh yeah.
Uh oh.
Can you even say his name on YouTube now? We'll find out.
Oh yeah, you will.
Oh yeah.
So for me, the anger has not really gone away, and I'm reminded of it every time I look in my room, which is half dedicated to it. When I watch an episode a day, pretty much. And, I'm not paying attention to them all the time, but they're in the back. It's my favorite background thing. Yesterday, and I was just talking to you guys. I watched War Games, and then Spirit in Space, which I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that.
Oh, it's a beautiful episode.
So great. Then Logopolis, and I hadn't seen that in a couple years, and that's when it got me. It's like that kind of charm. That was the Doctor Who charm, and that's why if you haven't watched this show, what makes this thing special is not its budget, it's its writing. It's some of the best writing in television history, in my opinion. That's what made it last so long. And what's going on now is they are systematically doing this to all our franchises, but Doctor Who remains the best worst example. Is they're going through all of our favorite franchises, pretending to be fans. They come in and going, we've been Doctor Who fans forever, but everything that came before is wrong and bad, and it needs to go. I went over a Star Trek article on Friday Night Tights yesterday about the sexist legacy of progressive Star Trek. That's how they feel about Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a sexist legacy of one of the most progressive shows in the history of television. That Doctor Who and Star Trek was doing stuff
kiss on American TV, right? Star Trek.
And
always at the forefront. Always at the forefront of what. I don't want to use the words these representation, whatever. Always at the forefront, And now, no, it's all bad. Everything's bad.
It had the first interracial kiss on the original Star Trek. This most diverse show for the time.
Exactly. They twist the history, though. That's what they do. They tried to say that the shows were racist, but they weren't. You go back and you look back, they were groundbreaking of their time. Doctor Who, Star Trek. What else was out at the time? I can't think of any more.
Blake Seven had
pretty groundbreaking show.
Yeah, it was like they weren't periphery. They were they were real. That's the thing I have to say about the last couple of years of Doctor Who. It's the first time I can think of where I think there aren't realistic female characters. There aren't where everything is about skin color or sexuality, ethnicity, whatever, and it's the least representative. I mean, again. I'm not even talking about the since 2005. If you go back, it's the least representative it's ever been. It's unbelievable, and they're all high-fiving themselves about what a great job they're doing.
Great job of running the franchise into the ground, destroying all those years of history, and for what? Listen, The problem with Doctor Who, the huge problem that we have with Doctor Who right now is obviously the writing and the casting. Right now, obviously, we speak about the casting that brings an awful lot of its own problems. But let's go back to the Timeless Children, because I think that's where, Gary, you want to actually let fans know how bad it is. So the Timeless Children, I think, is a good starter point for us all, because we all know what came before it. It wasn't too great. Everybody knows that. But the Timeless Children is where we have the biggest problem. That actual episode, and why in 2 minutes, basically, he destroyed, what was it, 52,
54 years.
54 years,
Yeah.
right? 54 years of canon in 2 minutes, right? It took them. How long did it take Kathleen Kennedy to do that in the Star Wars franchise? Like, this man did it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes, he destroyed completely the show's canon.
Yeah,
And
imagine your favorite thing being ruined with a voiceover montage. Like,
oh God, I don't even remember it. Oh,
just
but
the way
yeah,
it's
they
possible.
same MO as Star Wars. Star Wars came in, and I wasn't that nervous about it when I saw the Force Awakens. It seemed like
Yeah,
an enjoyable couple of hours, right? And Doctor Who was awful from the outset. Doctor Who was really terrible, right? But because I love it so much, because I just adore it so much, I didn't want to accept it. And it wasn't till halfway through, in past Arachnids in the UK, which was legitimately the worst story on every single level, that apart from my special effect, that had ever. I even said, everyone can have a bad episode. But that was it was by the end of that season. If you check the ratings and you see the decline, they've spent the last 2-3 years, I would say, re-educating the British viewing public that Doctor Who is not a fun show anymore. It's not a fun show. It's a dour show. It's a preachy show. It's a boring show, and the ratings have fallen off the cliff. So I would say I think the Timeless Children, which is when they did that full massive retcon, that was a point, I think, where most fandom came over to the Fandom Menace side and went, this ain't gonna fly.
Well, 7 million households have tuned out. 7 million.
Right.
I think Chibnall said, "Hold my beer." Here's Series 12.
Yeah.
Because Orphan 55. My God. Can anyone? Is there a plot to that show other than the only thing I really remember that episode is Ryan sucking his thumb in a corner.
Yeah.
Snowflake style.
All that happened.
Right.
There was so much awful things that happened in that episode.
Some old lady screaming Benny. I mean,
You have this woman looking for a husband called Benny, but he's spelled
right.
They're not married, but I can't remember. So you have half the episode, this old woman going, Benny! Benny!
Yeah.
Sure.
I wish they'd have thrown Grandma off whatever the tram or the bus they were on.
Oh my God.
The funny thing is,
does a Greta Thunberg at the end, and it's awful. Oh my God, it's one of the worst speeches. Doctor Who, which is famous for incredible speeches. Like, can you imagine Jodie Whittaker doing the Genesis of the Dalek speech with Tom Baker holding two strands of fire? Like, do I have the right? That moral complexity, that
she would put herself in the position of it.
She would say, "Do I have the moral right?" And she'd go, "Yeah." And she'd do it.
Yeah.
It
requires acting. It requires acting.
She'd probably say she can't be bothered, like she told Graham when he had cancer.
The problem is the BBC think that this is editorially healthy, right? They keep ignoring the fact, and if you look at the Doctor Who, if you look at the Time Lords Origins trailer on YouTube, it still has more downvotes than it does likes. It has over 2,000 comments on it, and the majority of them are all negative about what they've done. But Chris Chibnall, the arrogance of the man. Remember, this is the man that told everybody to basically pipe down. It wasn't a democracy. He was going to write the show the way he was going to write the show as long as he was there. Here's the problem: these people have forgotten that there's been a fan base there. Right, I don't mind, and everybody here on the panel will agree with me. I don't mind them introducing new fans to the show, But what they must not do is isolate those previous fans. If you start isolating them and pandering to a certain minority of the fandom, that's where you end up being in trouble. 7 million households have tuned out. The Doctor Who magazine is struggling right now. The Timeless Children completely destroyed 54 years of Doctor Who canon, and the BBC say that it's editorially fine.
Editorially,
Healthy. Yeah, this
and
is a slap in the
believe
face.
me, they still believe that, Noel. And the whole thing is the only reason changes might be coming is purely financial. That's it. I mean, they and the attitude of "Are you good enough to be our fans?" is
that's over, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, those days are done.
Got to thank the Chinese government. They can't argue with
Well, to put it in
the Phantom Menace.
well, to put it in context, just to remind everyone, the Timeless Children final consolidated rating was 4.69 million viewers, which is the lowest of any episode of New Who. And this was the season finale or series finale. This is the playoff game. This is where you're supposed to have your viewers. This is the lowest rating Doctor Who has had since 1989.
Yeah.
And yet it still has an AI of 82.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not rigged.
Yeah, that's worse than that. Because if you watch the ratings, you see they take a nosedive when Doctor. You had this awful show, Country File, beforehand. Which, like, in my mind, that was actually a show.
I like Country File until recently.
Gary, did you start watching that?
Hang on. What was that, Noel?
I said I start watching that show, Country File. Did you start watching it? Every week I actually sat there and start watching Country File. And I started getting into it.
It's probably it's way better than Doctor Who at this point. So yeah, why not?
People do agree with you. 500,000 people literally ran out the room and would do anything else. Anything that. So basically, okay, this is the scenario. It's very likely you're sitting watching Country File. Doctor Who comes on, and your loving partner says, "Would you like me to put my fist up your ass?" Okay. and you go, "Well, that sounds terrible. That sounds really awful." But on the other hand, Doctor Who. So I think that's what people do, and that's the choices people actually have editorial security.
It's just legendary.
Legendary.
God, Rabbi, I missed you.
I love you, man.
I love Rabbi.
Oh my God!
By the way, if you just want to hear more of that,
So it was incredibly easy to get around the oh God, what do you watch online over there? The BBC. What's their online access again? iPlayer. Yeah. iPlayer. You get a VPN and then you sign up for iPlayer. And it simply asks you, do you have a license? And you go, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And they let you play it. And you're like,
yep.
Like, really?
It's the way the English police deal with gun violence.
We did that every week for the entire series.
That's what we were doing too.
That's what I was watching on iPlayer. And we watched Country File, but apparently Country File has gone woke. Did you guys hear that they?
Well, everything.
How can that possibly?
It is. Oh man,
I don't understand. What world are we in?
They made Top Gear woke. BBC,
how do you do this?
Listen, BBC, if they want to make something woke, they can make something woke. The problem is they could have done this and made woke TV shows, but kept their two most important IPs, which is Top Gear and Doctor Who. They could have left them alone. But
correction, was.
Sorry. You're right.
Although there was kind of a really sad, depressing irony, which is also kind of funny, because Fugitive of the Jadoon was when this whole thing was set in place. But the Country File episode right before that took place in Dungeness, which is where the Claws of Axis was filmed. And that was one of the weeks where it beat Doctor Who in the ratings. So R.I.P. John Pertwee, Hail Dungeness, F. Chibs.
Well, I hope the weather cleared up since they filmed Claws of Axis. That was freezing. Oh my God, I felt so bad for Katie Manning.
Yeah.
With thick snow.
getting back to Chris Chibnall, though, the biggest problem I have with him is, right, he sets something up, right? And it's not even that great of a setup anyway, because he's not good at developing characters. Have you noticed from the very first episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, to the last episode, The Abomination that we seen, that none of the characters in the show, the main characters in the show, have actually developed?
No.
They're not characters.
They don't care about that. They care about promoting their political ideology.
They've actually
they don't have characters. They have identities.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
absolutely, Rabbi.
Function is to have that skin color. I don't even have and to be a police and be the bestest policewoman ever.
Yeah, a policewoman that has never showed up in a day's work in our life. Like we've never seen that.
That's the clarity of a character.
And Ryan's supposed to have a disability. What's his disability?
Oh no, they had that for one episode. He had
dyspraxia.
Dyspraxia.
Yeah, and what happened to that? It was a callback when he used the
bomb. He threw the bomb. Do you remember?
Yeah, and then they
mentioned in the season premiere or series premiere to series 12 when he was playing basketball, and then it was. I don't think it was. I've tried to block series 12 out of my head.
I know,
but I don't think it was mentioned again in the entire series.
Set up his throwing the bomb, and
I remember poor Yaz was bullied as well.
Character arc in Chris Chibnall. Now it's like, we'll have him play basketball and then throw the bomb like a basketball, which reminds me of Rios and Picard boarding what's her name with a soccer ball, because that's not race. Because all Latin people just play soccer. That's all they do. They play soccer and work on cars.
I remember poor Yasmin Khan. Poor Yasmin Khan was bullied as well. Remember?
Oh, in one episode, that entire plot line.
Yeah.
She was hired. She was just hired to be a victim. She was hired to be a victim. That's the whole purpose of her being hired.
Wait a minute.
How are
they going to do Yaz now? Because she's a cop. You can't have police.
She'll leave the. She's going to leave the police. I pray they're going to get rid of the police box, or at least the work.
Well, yeah, they're going to do it. You know that.
No, they won't. They won't.
They will do it subtly. I truly believe they'll do it subtly.
On what do you base that incredibly optimistic?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they won't do it.
Where's this change come from?
I'll tell you why they won't do it now. I'll tell you why. They don't need to actually get rid of it. What they'll do is what he did during Series 11. We'll hardly see it, but it will be there. We'll probably see more the inside of the TARDIS more than the outside.
Well, isn't that getting rid of it subtly, in a way?
I wouldn't be surprised if they just get rid of the word police off the box.
I think
they just call it, I don't know, phone box.
And I agree with Rabbi. I think she's going to denounce the police in one of the episodes. I'm calling it now.
First episode guaranteed.
10 minutes.
Yep.
Well, I don't think
it comes out.
Well, I don't think they're even aware it has a chameleon circuit. They are that clueless on this show. Yeah. And they're actually, for trivia, even though they guaranteed they don't know this either, there was an attempt to change that with Colin Baker's first full series or season. They were actually going to do away with the police box. It had been rumored in magazines. Then John Nathan Turner decided just before shooting that, okay, this is a stupid thing. We're not going to do that. But in case you're wondering why the TARDIS does change shape in Attack of the Cybermen, that was done deliberately to troll fans. Best troll ever.
And that horrible antique cabinet, too. God, imagine flying around in that thing.
Yeah. You know what? All I remember is Perry and pink spandex.
Well, you would.
My Perpigillium.
Well, hopefully I can remember what I was going to say. I was going to say...
Sorry, Father.
Sorry, Father.
Sorry. I'm still new to the big group chat thing, but I was going to say Yaz kind of developed during the very special mental health episode last season. And again, I started watching partway through the season because I figured out how to get access because I don't have BBC America. And I'm thinking, who in the world in the 12th century uses the word mental health? Because the girl was talking about how she needed some mental health or rest from mental health, and you knew that it was going to be a political issue. Then they had the special hotline at the end of it.
So
I trolled them. I basically tweeted them. It's like, okay, I need some mental health for what you did to my show.
Oh yeah.
And the Jody bots came after you.
That was the worst moment in Doctor Who for me.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the episode, it ends up one of the Doctor's companions, Graham, confesses has a real human moment. He's a cancer survivor, and he said, I'm always scared of my cancer coming back. And he reaches out to the Doctor, this incredible, uplifting, inspirational character to be inspired, to give him bravery, to move him forward. And her answer is, I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna
walk over here.
Oh my God!
Yeah, listen. BBC received a backlash for that, but rather than apologize, they came out with a stupid statement instead.
Well, and because they wanted to really connect. Jodie is supposed to be the surrogate for the socially awkward nerd girl, basically. That's what Tilly is in Star Trek Discovery. So it's a stereotype. It's a horrible stereotype of nerd girls, by the way. And they've made the Doctor that. So she's kind of a Karen, and she's also kind of the Tilly. But yeah, she also. I think that's part of the intersectionalism. You don't comfort a man. You don't let a man mentor you. I mean, nothing. You sever all connections. That's what intersectionalism is. It's separating people into groups. So into groups of little hive minds. So you can have voter blocks or I can't. It's a communist term. It's a Marxist term. Proletariat. I can't remember.
Proletariat.
Yes, that's what you listen. Kicked out of 3 high schools, but that's what intersectionalism is, and that's what it's about. And it's Robert Meyer Burnett says it eloquently. You don't put your agenda before your character or your story, and that's what comes first and foremost from the BBC. I was jesting about there being a checklist for scripts. Each script has to have a mention of this. It gives you multiple choice of what woke things you have to mention in each script. I'm told something like that kind of exists, but it's kind of in the writer's room. That's it. Like, they don't need the list because it's there. It's all part of their cult. They believe it. So they're gonna we'll mention some handy capable people in this episode, and we'll mix it in with and like we referred to earlier, guaranteed within the first 15 minutes, I'll be nice, of the first episode, when it ever comes out, they will be denouncing the police in some way, shape, or form. It will get brought up, and that's what this show has become. It's become influence. They want to create conversations, and they've created a lot, really.
So will they honor the Brigadier anymore then? Or will he be a big bad man because he's the military?
Unit's never coming back, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't like what they did to Unit. I was never happy with what they did to Unit, where it kind of, and I love the Brigadier. I mean, it's one of my favorite characters from the old series, but it seemed like they put him on a hero worship type thing.
Yeah, worship. I think Brigadier is quite a reasonably good character to hero worship. Listen, I just want to touch on something that a couple people on the panel have said. I believe with all my heart Doctor Who will one day come back. It may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years. And here's why. The reason Doctor Who came back in 2005 is because on the original series, when it came, you had lots and lots of brilliant writers when they were kids watching Doctor Who. I can't imagine the same thing didn't happen from 2005 to 2017. There's an entire generation of new writers that were brought up on Doctor Who, and then when they start to move into TV, which will be in about 5-10 years. Well, how long it's going to be? When they start to move into TV, at one point they're going to go, Doctor Who was great. Doctor Who was fantastic. Where did it go? Because this isn't going to last. This Doctor Who is not sustainable. There's just not a big enough fan base to support, which is why they've all gone crazy. When there's not a big enough fan base to support it.
Here's where I agree with that. The kids weren't around long enough. They definitely had them, and what was most important is for the first time in the show's history, they had them here. Like, kids were like, I mentioned it over and over again at Comic-Con, which is Nerd Mecca here. Doctor Who took over Comic-Con 2 years in a row. Like, it was everywhere. It was bigger than Star Wars. It was bigger than superheroes. It was everywhere, and they lost it overnight. Like,
Yep.
Yeah. But
And
I will Doctor Who.
you need that time. Okay, so for it to capture a generation, like Harry Potter captured a generation. Harry Potter is going to create more Harry Potter-like stories. Harry Potter is the Star Wars of the millennials, despite what Disney thinks, and that's what captured. That whether you like it or not, I mean, it's the truth. Like, there's so many people who read that book
Now, because J.K. Rowling broke their crazy religion.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in complete freefall meltdown, and have been. How long ago was that? It's been a month. They've been like setting themselves on fire and running.
I think most people. I mean, like, the parks are insanely popular. Like here, if you can get to them. But the Universal one in LA and the one in Florida are insanely popular. So I think that's a good sign for that. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Doctor Who benefited from Harry Potter ending here in the States because it kind of left the hole once it was over. That's when things started getting big. Like, Doctor Who's fandom was because it was on BBC America and then it came on Netflix. I think it was 2009, 2010. And everybody had access to it. So once Americans could see and then, they started going into the classic, but a lot of the Americans remembered Tom Baker, maybe the third Doctor from PBS. And they started watching Netflix, started getting like much more popular than the 50th anniversary, which was done right in almost every way, minus Clara. And then afterwards, I mean, this is the hardest thing for a lot of people to hear because I like Capaldi. Everybody likes Capaldi.
Here. But
it turned off a lot of the youngsters. A lot of the youngsters were gone.
That's his first season. Very alien, very aloof. And it was going from Matt Smith, so warm and so personable.
Wonky.
And I love him with every fiber of being.
I love season 8 too. I love it.
But that first season, he played him very alien, very aloof,
very dark.
Which
I like that first season.
Yeah,
but
I do too. I
rating
actually
for
love
his
it.
first season. If you look at the ratings for Series 8, they actually held steady with Series 7. So there was that alienation, but he also brought back a lot of classic series fans because this was a classic series Doctor. But the extended break between Series 8 and 9 and the shift in writing style, the shift in ideology with Series 9, which I say is almost certainly BBC interference because Stephen Moffat's style really isn't present in those last two series. So I think under different circumstances, had there not been such a long break between Series 8 and 9, I think Capaldi would have done better, but I think it was the break. This was when we started to see the ideology come into the show. The Series 9 and 10 are also very badly written, which is why I don't blame Moffat. I think this was studio interference, obviously, from the BBC. So the easiest way to put it is Capaldi got screwed. And he did not want to leave after 3 series.
No, he didn't.
No.
He wanted to do at least 5. Series 12 actually should have been his final series.
Yeah.
In that interview he did.
Articles out there.
He was pushed out.
Yep. That interview he did.
He did
right
an
after.
interview. He did an interview on BBC Radio, and he broke down talking about leaving Doctor Who. That's not a man that wanted to leave that role. He was pushed. Don't give me this, right? Then they start throwing these articles out then. So David Tennant talking about how much work.
That's when things started getting big. Like Doctor Who's fandom was.
What happened there? Something interfered.
I think StreamYard just blew up.
Yeah, like sorry.
Okay.
It's cool. As I was saying, then these articles start coming out about how Matt Smith and David Tennant were saying how hard it was to film Doctor Who, that the schedule was really tough, and then obviously this was the excuse used for Peter Capaldi kind of bowing out because it was getting a bit too much for him scheduling wise, and he wouldn't have the energy to be running around. Get away out of that. So look, his last season and all the way Jordan he's run had no problem running around and listen. His Doctor won a poll. I don't know if you've actually seen it. Someone put a poll up on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Well, I mean,
don't get me wrong. Some of the choices in it were bad, but Peter Capaldi finished
Still
top
won.
of this poll.
And
Yeah, he's still
Capaldi was
Peter.
a fan. I mean, he was a childhood
Yeah.
fan
Yeah.
of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, you can
And
really
Jodie,
see it as well.
Jodie, I read an article the other day. Jodie said she's never watched an episode of Classic Who. Is
Right.
not going to until she's until she's gone.
Right, and she didn't even like do her homework. I mean,
Right.
Chibnall wouldn't let her.
You know, the reason she doesn't watch now Matt Smith's performance is fantastic performance. He wasn't a fan either. He went back and watched a story from each Doctor in his preparation for the character, and you can so see it in his performance. A lot of his performance came from Tomb of the Sidemen. The reason Jodie didn't is partly because Chibnall told her not to, but the main reason is she doesn't like Doctor Who, and it's very clear she doesn't like.
Because I agree with Rabbi, because any
Stupid.
actress or actor worth their grain in salt wouldn't listen. Even actors and actresses out there have said it in the past. Well, the director told me not to read the source material, but I did anyway. Right. And then when the director found out, he says, "Well, I'm kind of glad that you did." If Jodie Whittaker had any, backbone, she would have actually went and watched the show anyway herself and not said anything. And then she would have seen what she was facing. And then she probably would have said, "Oh, Chris, I think I'm the wrong person for the role. You should have got
but she
Olivia
doesn't
Colman."
like Rabbi was saying, she doesn't care about Doctor Who.
No.
She plays the character like a parody.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Well,
It's a comedy.
And yeah, I think moreover, she thinks anybody who likes Doctor Who who's not a 7-year-old girl is a bit weird. And it doesn't really like who cares what they think.
Gary,
What
have
are
you
the
heard
odds?
our HBO? Have you heard our HBO Max interview with David Tennant and Matt Smith?
Yep. And
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear the way she was speaking about Doctor Who compared to the two lads though? It was totally different, the rhetoric. You could see they genuinely loved and missed being in the role.
And did you notice they edited a bunch of her stuff out?
Yeah.
Like, was struggling with stuff and umming, and they're like right in the middle of one of her answers. There's a huge edit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's obvious. What was that? What were we going to say, Father?
I was just going to say there's no way she's going to watch it after she leaves.
No.
No.
It is
God.
clear.
She used this as a stepping stone to other roles.
Yeah, it
Come
is.
here, she doesn't even watch her own crap.
It's the same way Brie Larson in the MCU. Brie doesn't give a crap about Captain Marvel and superheroes. It's a stepping stone. She's the worst person to play Captain Marvel, by the way. And Jodie is the worst person to play the Doctor.
Well, the thought that I had is Chibnall would be British version of America's Rian Johnson.
Yeah. Ruin Johnson. Yeah.
Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
But what he did to Star Wars, Chips did to Doctor Who.
I'd actually have to say though, I think Chibnall did more damage. I'm sorry.
I mean, on a personal level for me, obviously. Although I wasn't happy about The Last Jedi, I was.
You could argue that Rian Johnson did more financial damage.
Yeah, but the only reason why I say that, is for Star Wars, there's a way back. For Doctor Who, there isn't. I have to.
No.
You know what, Rabbi? I have to say I would have agreed with you about it having a chance of coming back, but he's killed it. None of these fans that have walked away are ever coming back. They're not going to come back. They're done.
Okay, so if next season, if they say, Jodie, Chips, you're fired, we're going to bring back, we gave Russell T. Davies like all the money in the world. We're going to bring back David Tennant, Paul McGann, and Christopher Eccleston. If they did that, they still wouldn't get all their fans back.
No,
I mean, we're talking the normies who were into Doctor Who. Are absolutely. Hang on, see, they're absolutely gone. They're gone, and they're not coming back. And that's what you need for your franchise to be a $1 billion franchise, not $100 million or a $10 million franchise. Because all the value right now is based on David Tennant. That's why they have a big deal with China. That's why they have a big deal with the Arab Emirates. I mean, they have licensing everywhere. And by the way, what pays for everything is this licensing they have around the world, and the Chinese licensing deal is huge. Interesting thing about that is they license the whole series, but they don't use every episode. Obviously, they edit. They have first right of refusal, and they do not air every episode.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, an example of living off Tenet. look at in Region 1 when the Tenet Blu-ray set came out last fall. It broke sales records. It sold out, I think, 4 times. It actually went into repressings. It was number 1 in the US and Canada. So that just shows you right there, there is, at least at that point, because this was pre-Series 12, but at that point there was still a demand for good Doctor Who. How's the Whittaker set doing? Well, as everybody knows, if you've been a subscriber of mine for a while, I covered Doctor Who DVDs and Blu-rays for the better part of a decade. So just to paint you the picture in Canada as to how the Jodie Whittaker Blu-ray sets are doing, Walmart had to send them back because they weren't selling. Best Buy will no longer carry them in their stores. They carry a limited supply online that won't sell. Amazon.ca, each one has had to discount 50% before the release, before the actual release date, because nobody is pre-ordering them. And Sunrise Records, which owns FYE in the US and HMV in the UK, Canadian companies. So yes, we saved physical media. You're welcome for those that still care. But Sunrise Records sent them back to their warehouse. Occasionally, they'll bring them back to specific stores, dump them on their bargain bin, or well, their bargain rack, and nobody wants to buy them. Nobody wants this crap. And the only reason that Warner, which handles distribution for DVDs and Blu-rays in North America, the only reason they're even releasing Jodie Whittaker media is because they're contractually obliged to, but still, nobody wants it. They release the bare minimum. That's why the Tenet set came out. That's why the Classic Series DVDs are back in print, because they are essentially trying to make up for the losses.
They need money.
Yeah, well, they do really well with the Classic Series stuff. Classic Series stuff. What the hell is this?
That's a
They're not going to get it with this.
They nailed the Dr. Karen face in that one.
They did.
God damn it!
Sorry to interrupt. Warning.
What do they call that? Serious resting bitch face or something?
Oh, that's some Dr. Karen right there. I'm telling you, I've seen it in the stores.
Just to back up what Bolstrek is saying about the merchandise, this is the 1/6 scale figure that has not sold out.
Why?
They only made 500.
Why would you want that? Actually, no. If you want to, if you're somebody that doesn't like house guests, just put that on your living room table. That will scare them away.
I could
you
probably
don't
say
need a guard
something.
dog. You just need that figure.
Pest
I'm
control.
going to put it in the private chat.
It's fantastic that Gary does this. So if there's any J-bots watching, there you go. There's a nice little present for you. It'll only cost you $293.
I mean, they didn't even make her smiling. I mean, I don't know what they says about what they think about their own doctor. Right? What's that?
The idiot smile that she has.
Yeah, I know. You think that they would do that? The constipated scrunch face.
Yeah, resting bitch face Jodie. That's got to be the worst Jodie possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
The coolest smiling face, the girding face. No, that's the resting bitch face. Really?
There's just proof everywhere. They're just trying to force. It's Captain Marvel. They're forcing Jodie on it. It's not a success. We're years into it, but they're going to stick with it because of agenda, and so they're going to lose their ass. The thing is, they could have lost their ass. They had a lot of money coming in. They had license money coming in. Everything's different now. Everything's different. So you can hear all the woke shows announced all they want. Like the sentiment, I've said this before, the sentiment of the customer, of the viewing customer, has not changed. So if you put out woke shit, you will get woke results, which means broke. The reason I put this up is this figure has been up for pre-order for months.
Wow.
No action figure has lasted this long. That means everything sells out. The classic stuff sells out.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to buy it. It sucks because it's got that stupid logo there. But,
yeah.
We talked about the master.
Well, you know what? The J-bots can buy it, and they can buy a Yaz doll.
The J-bots don't have money.
And then, but hang on. I've got a great idea, because they're so into these two characters getting together. Well, you can do it. He's can buy the Jodie doll and buy a Yaz doll, and he's can ship it a heart. He's a heart's content. There you go.
But they're not happy. They're not happy with that. They have to see it for real.
Yeah, even though it's not real, it's make believe, and she's married to a man, and it'll never happen.
Yeah, well, you know what? In Series 13, I bet you anything it happens.
By the way, I just seen someone in the chat saying just because Jodie Whittaker is a bad actress doesn't make her a bad person. No, you are right, but when she comes out with stupid things like the stylist video, and she basically made fun of fans that had a problem with her casting, and that was only when she was a wet day announced, by the way. So she started off on the wrong foot. And then she keeps coming out with all this rhetoric. Lately in the HBO Max video, she talked about how little girls don't have to cut their hair anymore now to dress up like the Doctor. As if mothers and fathers were physically cutting their children's hair so they could dress up as their favourite Doctor. Don't be giving me that crap. That's the kind of crap we don't like. Right? When she comes out with that rubbish, that's when I say, no, she deserves to be called out. And she will be called out for it.
She's a good actress doesn't mean she's a good person. We aren't talking about her. We're talking about her arguments with Doctor Who. I'm not talking about her as a mother or as a person. So quit conflating and confusing stuff like that. That's childish.
Exactly. It's just about her as an actress. And she says things as an actress that I don't like.
About this show.
I do think she's a stupid person. I think that I do think that the Doctor, and I think she's genuinely quite dumb because most actors are genuine. I mean, listen, Patrick Stewart sounds smart, right? God. And then he starts talking, and you go, "This guy's a moron."
Right.
This is why there's no movie stars anymore. I was thinking about doing a video on this. There's a great old article I found that really breaks down why the advent of social media and the fall of the movie star, it wasn't a coincidence that those two things happened at the same time. We got to know who they are. And I mean, like we're getting intimate details on Johnny Depp's life right now, which I mean, sucks for Johnny Depp. We found out that Johnny Depp has probably done a little blow, which I mean,
shocker.
Really?
I would be
that's a shocker,
right? But through this old Hamber turd thing, I mean, it's an embarrassment, but that's why there's no movie stars anymore. You're finding out they're not only flawed, they're really flawed, just like us. Yes. But you know, you're right, Rabbi. She came out. I talked about this with Christian from the Traveling TARDIS. Why didn't Jodie go on a tour and shake hands and kiss babies and try to, instead of being confrontational, which that's how she started out. It's a practice in the male gaze. Doctor Who fans have gotten old. These are things she has said, and she hasn't apologized. Why hasn't she gone out and tried to charm everybody and go, you know what? Okay, you're against a female doctor. Let me prove to you that it can work. But all she did was prove us right from the get-go. I mean, they've made it easier for her. They've given her less episodes, more companions, and she didn't even have to watch the damn show.
Exactly.
Well, she didn't exactly make a good impression when she came through the glass ceiling.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh yeah, what did she say? Whoops.
Whoops.
Whoops to you. Your ratings are gone. Your audience has run away.
I was totally on board. I would like.
I saw that, and I was like,
"Well," and as I said,
his heart broke.
I have no problem with Misty being a woman. I really greatly enjoyed her character, but the problem was they just was. I mean, even before Capaldi, they were pushing for a woman doctor, and with everything that's going on right now, it's being forced on us.
Well, here's. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but before the Woman Fell to Earth aired, I don't know, in the UK, I don't think they did this, but in BBC America, they aired this virtue signaling, pat ourselves on the back pre-show, where all these women were talking about how wonderful it was, all these unrelatable women that didn't even watch. You could tell these women didn't watch Doctor Who. They didn't give a crap about Doctor Who. Yeah, I was angry. That's when I was angry before the episode even aired.
And the other thing, too, is I noticed when I taught high school, a number of my kids were really into Doctor Who. And I remember as a kid myself, when I was first introduced, I think I was the only one watching it.
Yeah.
And now, when I was in school, there's kids.
Father Miller, you bring up a really good point, because the fans of this era, they can't stand people not liking. They can't stand that it's not popular. It's not popular by every metric possible. It's not popular. No. You know, I was thinking like last week. I put out a video about this. That when we all grew up watching Doctor Who, it was crushingly unpopular. You know, it was I was a closet Whovian when I was a kid.
Yeah,
in the 80s. No way would I have admitted I was a Doctor Who fan, say during the early McCoy era. But one thing that I also wanted to touch on when you talk about the female doctor, and I've said this, everybody knows what I'm going to say because I've said it many times before, but for those who didn't, and this again is contrary to what I'm accused with pretty much on an hourly basis.
Yeah.
Myself, in principle, I've never been against the idea of changing the gender of the doctor. When they were casting Capaldi, they announced a few runners-up. Capaldi was one of them, and you know where I'm going with this. One of the actresses, or an actress that was rumored to be in contention, was Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
And I actually got excited by that because she would be perfect for the doctor. So changing the gender, if it's done under the right circumstances, not for ideology,
for the right reasons,
if you can fit it into the narrative, and I think you could have done something interesting with it, but instead, what we had was somebody who was completely miscast as the doctor, only because reportedly Coleman turned the role down, and thank God, because this would have ruined her doctor. But another cast member on Chib's other show gets the job. And here's the thing about Whittaker, and the problem with the performance, and the fact that I don't think she's capable of pulling it off, and the fact that she refused to watch any previous Doctor Who. She actually misses the entire point of the character, because what each incarnation or each personality is, it's a facade.
Yeah.
The Doctor is underneath. So what you're playing is a character which is centuries old, that you have to believe is centuries old. And every actor that has played the Doctor up until now, and I would actually include Ruth in this, every actor has been able to pull off, and again, as I've said many times before, the performance is partially in the eyes, where you can tell, okay, say Matt Smith is probably the best example, or even Patrick Troughton, where they were both kind of the wacky, zany doctors. But within the acting, within the performance, under the surface, non-verbally, you could see that there was this centuries years old Time Lord underneath. The problem with Whittaker is she's playing the facade. She has no conception that there is this Time Lord underneath. And a comment that I get is her performance is off and something's missing, but I can't really point it out. Well, that's your problem. She's playing the facade. But not only that, each Doctor until now has channeled the personality of the actor, because the direction that's always been given to everybody that has played the Doctor, really going back to William Hartnell, is play the Doctor as an exaggerated version of yourself. Well, Whittaker can only pull off sad, mopey characters, which I will give her credit. She's good in that. You know, her performance in Broadchurch was fine, but that's all she can pull off. What she is doing is pulling off a very poor imitation of Matt Smith and David Tennant. So she's playing the facade. She's not playing the Doctor, and that's why it's missing. Whereas, and I think we all said this when Ruth came on, regardless of the ideology behind it. Exactly. That expression right there. David Tennant actually pulled it off the best, but I would rank Capaldi second.
I agree.
Capaldi said more with his eyes than Jodie Whittaker could say in a whole season.
Well, Capaldi did this incredible thing where he had like you have to pause it to see it, but he did like micro expressions that mimic the other actors. Like you had a little bit of burst of like a little bit of Troughton, a little bit of Tom Baker, and the performance was just so incredibly layered.
Yeah.
You know, like you would see him like remember, and he would like look like Pertwee for a second. I have no idea how
it was amazing, and it was one of the reasons why I went back and watched the classic was because of Capaldi and his portrayal. And I mean, you're spot on with that.
Yeah,
best
my heart
actor
broke when he
portrayed the Doctor.
regenerated.
Well, even if you look at it, was in Series 8 during the Orient Express episode, where he literally channels Tom Baker when he makes that jelly baby comment, and it was Tom Baker's voice. It's like, and it was just this subtle thing that was thrown in, and it's like, holy crap!
Yeah,
those are the things that give you chills. That's the Doctor Who that I love. Those things,
and it just has to be subtle. You know, it doesn't have to be anything too complicated either. But if you look at Chris Chibnall's era, he likes to explain everything to the audience. I mean, we're not a bunch of drones. I'd like to figure things out for myself.
I think the fans of his era are actually about
Right.
a bunch of drones to me.
Yeah.
But on Peter Capaldi, I felt I was gutted when he regenerated into Jodie. I remember watching that regeneration scene, and I was just I thought, do you know what? It's very hard to explain my feelings, but one of the biggest ones was I feel nothing for this person playing the Doctor now. This is just, and I thought that'd be the worst it'd get until we got to the Timeless Children.
You know what? When she regenerated, then she blows up the TARDIS and gets sucked out.
Yeah, that was the TARDIS kicking her out.
Yeah, I thought that was like a delightful cliffhanger introduction to this new Doctor. It turns out that's her personality. You know, bumbling incompetence to her is what the long scarf was to Tom Baker. Like my biggest leap of faith, leap of logic I have to make to believe it, which I don't, but to accept this era Doctor Who, which I still don't, is not that she's an ageless time shape shifting alien in a time space machine that's bigger on the inside than the out. It's that she hasn't got everybody killed. Everybody killed who walked out. I mean, again, if you're not watching the series, you're so lucky. In season 12, they have a character. They bring back a favorite character, Captain Jack, who travels from time and space to warn and say, "Don't do this." Very, very simple thing. All you got to do is not do this, and humanity will not be destroyed. And then 3 episodes later, she actually does that thing in full knowledge, and we find out all humanity is destroyed.
There is another proper Doctor right there.
There it is, but there's the expression. That's that expression. Is that in Midnight by any chance?
No, this is Force
Silence
Dead.
in the Library.
Well,
yeah.
And if you remember, in the Runaway Bride, where the water's drenching over him as he's trying to plead with the Spider-Woman to leave, you can see the anger in his eyes too.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about Tennant is that he was quirky and he was eccentric, but then he can turn that off very quickly and become very angry and a very dark Doctor, which I liked him, which is something she can't do.
Voyage of the Damned.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
Even before that, go back to what's it called? School Reunion, where he has that confrontation with
Niles.
Yeah, in the swimming pool.
Perfect. That like he's like, I'm so old now. I don't have time to be nice. Yeah, when he is like his pretense layer, and you see the metal underneath. Ah, man, that's incredible.
There's Philip. Sorry, Philip, I didn't know you were there. Listen, that's another thing I'm pissed off about was messing with the age of the Doctor so much. There was such a good progression, and then all of a sudden, willy-nilly, we're like, let's give him 1,000 years here, 1,000 years there.
How many years did he get in hell?
Whatever.
A billion. Billion.
Yeah.
We have Phillip Morris joining us. Hello, Philip.
Hello.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Doing well.
Great.
The archivist, Phillip Morris.
Indeed,
awesome, man.
Indeed. The archivist at work.
And I must say, Philip, and I know I speak for everyone here, it's an honor to have you on this live stream, sir. Thank you actually made the 50th anniversary. I was more excited about those episode discoveries than even Day of the Doctor. So everybody in the chat, send Philip a thank you, because he is, like what was said earlier this week, I believe was you, Rabbi, he's done more for Doctor Who fandom than anybody in probably the past 5 years. So thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you.
That's very kind of it. But remember, I'm just a fan, like everybody else. You know, I don't. I never put myself above anybody else or anything like that. I'm just another fan of the show that probably went a bit further than most, and still does, trying to recover its past. It's interesting. I was just listening to the conversation about Jodie and stuff like that, and I've given this a lot of thought the last few days, and I think to myself, if you actually are going to change the gender of a lead character in any television series that's been on air for over 50 years, you better have a damn good idea behind it before you do it. Exactly. And the reasoning behind that is you've got 50 years worth of audience out there, and I don't want to alienate you. You know, let's say I make television programs. I don't want to alienate you. I need to take you with me and show you something new with the same character you've always loved.
Exactly.
Now, that's not what's obviously happened. As we've seen, it's not sort of been properly thought out how it's going to be done. It's, you know, it's basically everything you see is just, it's car crash television. It really is, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that and having a go at, you know, at Jodie. She's a great actress. She'll always be the 13th Doctor. She's done that now. She's been the first woman Doctor Who. She's probably going to walk away now. She's done it and, you know, leave it where it is. It hasn't worked. It hasn't been her fault. I think the fault's been with Chris Chibnall. I think before he's taken this job on, he should have taken a step back and thought to himself, can I do justice to the past 50 years? Can I add to what's already been said? It's a bit like if someone's into soul records and, you know, you'd only, you know, something like, you know, Otis Redding. There's only one Otis Redding. If you can't make a single as good as Otis Redding did, don't put anything out there because it's not as good.
Exactly.
If you've got the talent to follow that up with something that's going to add to it and you're going to take the audience with you, then come on, let's go for it. But that hasn't happened. I think if you look at a lot of the show, I think they've nailed, with the colours in the costumes distinctly, they've nailed their political colours, you know, very firmly to a flagpole. Now, when this character Doctor Who was created, he is an anti-establishment character. That's what he is. That's why he left home. He wanted to go. He stole the TARDIS. He went out there to look at the wonders of the universe, not to fight Daleks every week and Cybermen. They were the things in between. That makes him a more rounded, interesting character in himself. You know, if you look at, you know, I was reading an interview with the late Heather Hartnell, who was Bill Hartnell's widow. And she was at, they had a big show at Longleat in 1983, quite a long time ago now. And there she met Peter Davison. And, you know, somebody said, what do you think of Peter? She said, he's a lovely guy. He reminds me of Bill when he was 20. But he's not a Patrick Troughton. You don't meet a Patrick Troughton every day when you walk in the street. You don't meet a William Hartnell and you don't meet a John Pertwee or a Tom Baker. These people are very individualistic people. And that's the key here. I think a lot of it has to come from your own character. You have to be a good actor, but a lot of it has to come from your own character. Yeah, it really does. Yeah. To be successful at it, or at the very least, I mean, a person that I thought was going to be fantastic was Peter Capaldi, and I know you probably won't agree with some of the suggestions here. If you meet Peter Capaldi, he's such a lovely, charismatic guy. But I felt that when Stephen was writing some of his scripts, he portrayed him as very dark and a very dour and very old, instead of being sort of an older Doctor but with more energy. That sort of thing, if you know what I mean. I thought that was a bit of a mistake. Yeah. At that time. Yeah. See, for me, I always gauge the wider audience in these things. My wife was a school teacher, so I always used to say, "What are the kids like at school?" You know, it was always David Tennant up here. David Tennant was immensely popular with the younger kids. He really was. But
and still is.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, we all love the Doctor, but there's nothing better than going out in the street and listening to ordinary members of the public talking about it like they've enjoyed it. And the one person we must thank for that, and I did tell him in person, by the way, was Russell T Davies. Yeah. I said, it doesn't matter what anybody ever says. You brought this show back.
He did.
And made it a success.
He did. Because he understood the audience, though, Philip, like what you said. He brought us all on a journey, and he was able to bring in new fans. He understood that there was all of that history, there was all of that fandom behind it, and he was very clever in the way that he was able to bring us all together.
Yeah, he did know, but I've got to tell you, it's easy to say that, but when you actually speak with Russell, and I said this to him, I said, you are very successful writing, shows like Queer as Folk, The Second Coming. Yeah. I said, you took a massive risk here. This could have failed. and it could have damaged your career, you know, actually bringing this program back. Yeah. And he said, I'm a huge fan, and I just wanted to, you know, and he did put everything into it, that first series with Christopher, and obviously followed with David. But the thing that he did is when he was, you know, I remember reading the story he told me when he was at Granada. He went to see, after the 1996 TV movie with Paul McGann, he went to see the head of drama there and just asked him, did you see Doctor Who last night? He said, I watched it for a couple of minutes. He said, it was a guy in fancy dress. He said, I turned over. And that's where he decided that if he was ever going to bring the show back, that he would put him in ordinary clothes, kind of a leather jacket, jeans. And that's the core of where Christopher Eccleston's costume came from. He wanted to make him a man in the street so he would be relatable again to an audience.
Yeah, what he did was he was inspired by Buffy, and this is how Russell T Davies understands fans. So few writers do.
Yeah.
And he understands that was essentially the same audience. I mean, it was. And what they said here, Russell T Davies said that he used Buffy as a model for when he was rebranding Doctor Who, because Joss Whedon was the first person to actually say you could have a genuine comedy and life-changing events happening on the turn of a dime. He said, and that's how it fit in. I'm a huge Buffy fan. I'm not the big Joss Whedon fan, but I'm a huge Buffy fan, and
Buffy's awesome.
And it really worked with this show. And I love Russell T Davies. I love that man. I think he's done a better job. I like Doctor Who more than I like Buffy. His era. So that's
he's a massive fan. He's a massive fan of Joss Whedon, and you look at where Joss Whedon's gone since. He's just a huge success. Absolutely, it's interesting. I'm sorry to interject there. It's interesting that the guy who was supposed to be getting the gig of Doctor Who before Chris Chibnall got it was supposed to be a guy called Anthony Horowitz, who's a British showrunner. He's written for things like Poirot. He's written programs like, I think he writes the Alex Rider series of books and stuff like that. He's quite well known in the UK. He's done a lot of genre TV, but his name was in the frame before. I don't know if it still is to replace Chris Chibnall, but I've seen a couple of tweets on his Twitter today, and someone's actually been asking him the question. And I think there's something there.
Is what's name Maxine Allerton?
Yeah, that was the last Maxine Alderton or something.
Yeah, that's on Gallifrey base apparently.
I don't know. Who knows?
I did a video on it in November actually, because we were told that as well. Maxine Alderton was a name that was thrown about as well. But yeah, we'll actually have to check out that tweet that Philip is talking about, because that'd be very interesting to have a look at actually. But yeah, there has to be a change because, I mean, if you've lost, as I said, and I'll say it again, 7 million households is not to be laughed at. I mean, it started off with just under 11 million with The Woman Who Fell to Earth, and it dropped to what? The overnight's 3.2, but then the consolidated, as Bolstrick said,
4.69 in the end.
4.69. That is a huge drop. That isn't success. The magazine is struggling. They can blame the pandemic all they want. You can buy that magazine online, and the supermarkets were open as well, right? There might be a little dip, but not as much as a dip that there is now.
All the bookstores that carry it have been opened. Comic stores that carry it are now reopened for the most part. Part of that is that's I just lost my train of thought now. I got to get the super chats in a second here. That's one thing I wanted to mention. Sorry to interrupt you, Noel. But the reason there's things I can't say that I know. So I know somebody who works in and around Doctor Who, not like Philip, but they're in peripheral. I don't know anybody in the BBC. I kind of think they're all drinking the Kool-Aid over there, my personal opinion. But and my friend is about to leave their job. They're about to leave their job because it's just miserable, and they've been doing it for years and years. I've known this person for a decade now, and the problems have just begun. Oh, this is what sorry again, Noel. The amount of audience that they lost here in the States, you will never know this number because you go off the BBC numbers, the BBC America numbers, it's like 1 million. There were so much more people watching Doctor Who than that through Netflix and Amazon Prime. millions maybe, and they lost all of those. And HBO Max is a joke, so you can't watch it on TV. It's not on Roku here in the States, so you have to watch it on your desktop right now.
Really?
Yeah, they don't have an app for the
TV. It like that? Are they crazy?
Yeah, they don't have an app for it for the TV.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's gonna wallow in obscurity on HBO Max. It's HBO Max. It likes to tout that it has it, and HBO does have 140 million subscribers worldwide, but that's HBO. That's not HBO Max. You have to transfer over, and right now it's probably like 20 million, I would say, and it's gonna get lost there. It's gonna get lost. Let's get to by the way, you guys can all answer super chats here. The questions will all go to the panel. So Smatter Effect for $4.99. I was never a big Doctor Who fan, but your coverage and passion has gotten me to take a closer look. And I know to stop at Jodie's incarnation. I like that, of the Doctor. I'm gonna take that smattering effect. Thank you for $4.99. 200 Watt Studio for $5. Phil, thank you for saving one of my favorite stories, Enemy of the World.
Oh yes,
No,
I read that one.
You know, and it's so different seeing it as opposed to listening to the soundtrack. That is such a visual story. Like you really need to see the hovercraft. You know, you need to see like all the design work.
That's become one of my top 10 episodes. When it was found back in 2013, I paid for the thing twice in I think 2 months. Because I remember they first released them, at least in North America, on iTunes, and just watching Enemy of the World, which was the first one I watched, I'm like, holy crap, I'm watching something new. And then I bought it on DVD, I think like 6 weeks later. But yeah, it's a brilliant story.
Yeah, Patrick Troughton's dual performance in that is just amazing. Just it's
blows you away.
I can't stop watching it. I it's my go-to if I'm just really wanting to watch Doctor Who, really great Doctor Who, and it made me fall in love with Patrick Troughton. So thank you for that.
Well, this will probably come as a surprise. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
so I'm looking forward. I'm going to watch it. I've been wanting to watch it. I just never sat down yet. So I have a feeling this is going to be like watching Star Wars for the first time.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God!
It is the most very different that you've seen before. That's the most, I think, breathtaking thing. It's
very
yeah.
Would you say it's like kind of like a Twilight Zone Doctor Who in a way?
Yeah. It's really unique.
Much so.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
I think you get more of that from the Hartnell and Troughton era anyway.
Yeah, and
it's interesting.
We got most of the Fear too.
Yeah, it's interesting if you look at stories from the 60s. I mean, Doctor Who then was on 48 weeks of a year. So, you know, it was only off for 4 weeks. It was more or less, it was basically rehearsed 1 week and they used to shoot it the next week. So, I mean, to keep that quality up back then is absolutely amazing, especially on the small budgets they used to operate on. You know, it's not like now, you know, so everything had to be character-led and everything had to be story-led, which is the thing I hear most from fans is we just want to see the stories. So it's the stories they're always after. They want these, these really well-written tales.
You know, there's a real similarity between like the very early days of 1963, 64, 65, and the 2005, 6, and 7, in that they both had this incredible bravery to them. They were like completely fit. Like in '63, they said we're going to do an alien planet with flying, with wasp monsters and giant ants and like
zombies.
Yeah. There is no way we can possibly pull the. We don't care. We're just going to do it. We're going to do a Dalek invasion of the Earth, and they did, and they pulled it off. And I think they, especially in the 2006 season, when they came in and they had a year under the belt, there was this incredible confidence and bravery. So look, if you haven't really seen Doctor Who, where would you suggest somebody starts?
Oh,
if started now?
For me personally, Spearhead in Space.
Just because it was filmed in film, which is amazing.
I think you'll have to process it.
Just because I'm a little bit younger, I suppose I would say Spearhead in Space. But if I was gotta be, I'd say start at the beginning.
Yeah,
I mean, you should always start at the beginning, I suppose. So. Yeah, go with Hartnell first. Why not? I mean, look, the writing is just far superior than what we're getting right now, and it's interesting and it keeps you engaged, and that's what we want. And at the same time, we're entertained, we're thrilled, you know. As kids hiding behind the sofas, that's what we want. We want that. We don't get that now, and that's the sad thing. Um, can I just ask, because while Philip is here,
Yeah.
can I
Yeah,
ask you how you felt about the Timeless Children? Did you watch that episode? Can you
I did
say?
actually. I did. No. I did. I watched it when it went out live, and I recorded it and watched it back later again. It just seemed to me to be. I mean, for a new audience, why would you have to reach back to 1976 for a story that the fans now they weren't? No one would be interested in. It was a throwaway thing back then, and I just thought that's, it's just something you don't do in drama. I personally don't believe you need to go back and say this is what happened in 1976, and we're going to take a thread out of that to change the entire backstory of a lead character. See, the thing that they miss that they don't understand is they think the format of the Doctor Who is a problem. The format's not a problem. The production team are the problem. They don't understand it. The lead character is called Doctor Who. We don't know who he is. We don't want to know who he is.
Exactly.
He is a mysterious character. If we want to know, who he is, then he's no longer Doctor Who. And you've just ruined the whole idea of the program. We want his background to be a mystery. We want little tidbits to be dropped in now and again to make the character interesting.
Exactly.
Everyone loves a mystery and everybody loves an enigma. And don't change it. It's not broken. Don't change it.
Exactly. Here.
Right.
Yep, and they've ruined that. They've absolutely ruined that. Forever.
Well,
and that's what we've talked about.
There is one thing. Remember this during the Timeless Children. The Master said, everything you think you know is a lie.
Yep.
So from a writing point of view, that's a get out point.
It could be.
There's so many ways of retconning. I mean, they built in. There's so many ways.
But the thing is, who's going to come back and watch it?
No one. There's zero will. You're absolutely right. There's zero will to do it. I agree.
I've seen it. The thing is, I've seen it happen over and over again in comics. I know I bring this up a lot, but One More Day with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the biggest character in the Marvel universe forever, above everybody else, even above the X-Men, who sold better sometimes, but nobody was more popular than Spider-Man. They did One More Day, right? They did One More Day where they took away his relationship with Mary Jane. Overnight, they lost a huge percentage of hardcore Spider-Man fans who lived and breathed it their entire lives. They were done, dropped it, never came back. So they retconned it later on, tried to bring people back, and you know what? Some people came back, but most don't. Once it's broken,
I agree. I totally agree with you. Quite right. I totally agree.
I don't think. I agree with all of you. I don't think they're going to get a lot of the fans they had 5 years ago back. I don't think that's ever happening. I do think, I really do, quite passionately, I think there's going to be new fans 50 years from now. And it's just what Doctor Who does. Doctor Who, again, it was off the air, it was dead, it was buried, and then it came back. It's just the show that does it.
Yeah, but hang on, there's a difference. There's a difference, though. There is a huge difference from the late 80s to what's happening now. The difference is that the BBC and the fandom right now is a shambles. The BBC have disrespected the fans, right? They didn't disrespect the fans back then. Well, they did to a certain extent, but not as bad as they've done now. That's the difference.
Don't you remember
the fans are not coming back. They've already proven they're not coming back. The numbers keep dropping. The numbers are going to continue to drop. The fans have clearly said they've had enough. They don't want this anymore. And I think the damage... I think he has mortally wounded Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who's reputation is actually in the gutter right now. And it's sad. That's why I broke down on that stream that night. Because the whole thing, I realised right there and then what he did. The show is in the gutter. It's done. The fans are not coming back. I love your optimism. I really do. And fans like you might be able to accept the fact that he did that. And even if there is a get out of jail clause, as Philip said, right? Why put the fans through this emotional turmoil in the first place? Destroy Gallifrey,
Exactly.
bastardize
You're right.
bastardize the Cybermen, right? Put them into bastardize the Time Lords and put them into cyber suits, right? Retcon the whole of the Doctor's past. I'm sorry, there's just too much damage to forgive. He is irreversibly destroyed the reputation of this show, and that's the bottom line. And I'll never forgive him for that. He is an absolute disaster. He didn't even want to be showrunner because they asked him years ago and he didn't want to do it. And then that's the man they give the job to. That's the man. Even Stephen Moffat says that he brought him out for dinner, got him drunk, and he took the bloody job. A man that didn't want the job. He doesn't respect us. He doesn't respect the show, and it shows. 2 seasons of this shit shows that he has not respect for any of us or the show's history.
And there's no way they're going to be able to fix it for the 60th.
No,
They
that's
don't
only
want
3 years
to.
away.
They don't want to fix it.
See,
they think it's fun and great.
Yeah, this is the only problem I do have with Doctor Who, and that is whenever they've replaced the showrunner, I understand when they've replaced Russell, why do they always pick a fan? Why can't we have somebody who's really good at the job? They're not a name, but they have to make a name on Doctor Who. Why can't we have someone of talent? It always seems to go to a fan, and then we have them going into the past. My biggest problem with it is when someone goes, and this is a classic, why don't we bring back? Why don't we bring back? Don't be bringing things back unless you've got a good story to tell about them. Create something new.
Yeah, you could see in season 12 it was their attempt at fan service, but they're incapable of it because they hate a lot of the fans. I mean, it's clear that there's a large portion of the fandom, and I said it earlier in the live stream, that we are not good enough for this show now because editorially they are just happy as can be with this show.
The only reason they brought back Jack Harkness is to lure us in to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was a shambles.
Exactly.
And by the way, that was shoehorned in.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm actually because it's at to annoy me now because his cameo, his cameo, you could see that it was added later on. So like, I mean, there's not even Philip is right. There's not even any thinking behind his madness. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a clown. He's an absolute joke. Listen, Jonathan Nathan Turner was classed as probably one of the worst showrunners. Well done, Chris Chibnall. You have now earned that accolade. Jonathan Nathan Turner is forgiven.
He's right.
No, can I just interject there? Can I just interject? No, I used to think like that, but you've got to remember something. Chris Chibnall's employed by a head of drama at the BBC. Right. John Nathan Turner was exactly the same. They're the people that overlook all the scripts and everything else. If they're not doing the job right, they're in the position to move these people out. Before they hire them, they have to make sure that they know what they're doing. So it's the head of drama does the hiring. His name's Piers Wenger, and he's the man responsible.
Do you think that because
he's in perfect shape editorially, great shape editorially?
Yeah, because he has to come out and say that because he's the one that gave Chris Chibnall the job, as Philip Morris has said. So he has to save face. This is all that's happening here with Piers Wenger now. He's saving face. All these statements when the fans actually kicked up and they come out with 3 pathetic statements, a statement after statement after statement, and not once did they say, "Well, we hear the fans. We know what you are saying. We understand what you are saying." No, it was like, well, we're in charge. We're going to do what we're going to do. And you have to prove it.
Yeah. I mean, like, how many times have we said, I'm not asking anybody to kiss my butt or anybody else's butt. Just treat us with basic human respect, which is we understand your point of view. We have a different one. We are going to do our best to win you over and actually try it. And it's not. You could tell even within the writing, there's adversarial behavior. And we, in a different franchise, there's a lot of parallels to Star Trek. We had Michael Chabon come out and admit that he went into writing Picard knowing that I'm going to try to trigger some people. Yeah. Like, that's how you screw up a franchise. Like, really, you're going to take something that people on the right and the left and the center and everywhere else loved forever. My politics have never changed. I'm a lifelong Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars fan. So it's changed around me. And I think that could be said for all of us. I've never had a problem with any of this stuff before. and it's just because it's preachy. Now I got to get some super chats here. Again, you guys can answer as you hear them. 200 watt studio for $5. My favorite doctors: Pertwee, Baker, Troughton, and Hartnell.
Yeah.
And then the rest.
Awesome.
I'm not going to argue with that.
No.
Holy Trinity for me is Peter Capaldi, Pertwee, and Baker.
Yeah,
Tom.
that's mine too. Yeah.
Tom
Holy
Oliver.
Trinity for me are the first four actors. William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker.
Here.
Also
That's
known as the Fab
Trinity for
Four.
me.
Yeah.
The
There's something
four,
special.
ideal, yeah.
That 4. Yeah, I could add
There was
all of those. To
There
my
was a
list.
poll.
Well,
There was a
that's-
poll on Twitter that someone
we-
had
Oh,
posted
God.
up.
We
Yeah.
spoke about it, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you saw my
Oh,
my
God.
comment problem.
They put John Pertwee at 11th
Oh.
place. They put
Oh,
Yeah.
underneath
Yes.
Ruth's doctor,
Yeah.
underneath Jodie's doctor. Tom Baker came 8th.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
beat Tom Baker.
I might have
Yeah.
quit Twitter right then and there. Just hearing that makes me want to
was
quit.
that from the Mary Sue?
No, this
Peter
was some.
Capaldi.
It was some J bot probably that
Yeah.
just
Sounds like
gave it to
Mary
certain
Sue.
people, and they didn't put it to where everybody, like the majority of the people, could vote. And it's obviously but Peter Capaldi still beat her ass. So hey, what does that say?
It does.
Yeah.
Go on, Father. What were you going to say?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Lethal Lightning for Australian $2 says, wishing you all the best. Love all. And we love you too, Lethal. Bless you, mate. He's got a great channel, by the way. Go check him out. Dude's the real deal. And he really likes the Snyder cut. And I'm kind of sold on it. Gareth, I don't want to mess up your last name, Gareth. Dybiek for £4.99. I will become a BBC writer and make the Doctor a white boy before he fell out of the vortex and regenerated into a black girl. I will never show his birth. As long as it was William Hartnell. William Hartnell is the first Doctor. Period.
Yes.
He's got to pop out with the white hair on and everything.
Yeah, I mean, with his bad teeth and everything. Okay,
That's
we
it.
we love William Hartnell. Poor
Mhm.
guy.
They did get the hair right and listen. So if you watch the episode, it's very clear that is young William Hartnell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I think they might retcon it at some point, like a new showrunner might. I can't see Chibnall. I can't see him doing it in this era right now. They would get there would be like
I'll tell you why they can't do it, and I'll tell you why they won't do it, and that's because BBC, like a lot of institutions within Britain, have been overrun by a group called Common Purpose. Common Purpose is a postmodernist organization. It's a charity, operates in absolute secrecy. They do not publish their minutes. They do all the diversity training. This is throughout many institutions, right? We're talking about not just the BBC, but the police, the fire service, all of it. And you've got this organization who, as I said, are incredibly secretive. What they do is they train people into positions of leadership roles, and they put their people in top positions. And this is the ideology that they've been teaching and training. There's a whole load of this stuff online. You can look it up. Because it is so secretive, obviously, it does fall into the realms of, potential conspiracies. But I don't want to say that particularly. But I mean, there is definitely a litany and a record of it. There was a tweet actually from Common Purpose to Chris Chibnall when he won an award saying congratulations, and then it disappeared. So you have to sort of go down the rabbit hole a little bit.
No, listen. That okay, and by the way, welcome, Problem Being, a long time supporter of the channel. Glad to have you on. Thank you, Bolstrek. That is something like maybe a few months ago you go, you're crazy, and then you saw the last 4 weeks here in the States, and you see Bad Robot come out with their fight against white supremacy within their organization, which I guess they have a problem. And then you go, oh, actually, we need to retire the phrase conspiracy theory. We just do it.
It's irrelevant now.
It really is.
It's as useless as the word racist now. It's meaningless. It's
Really
become
is.
so tired and overused.
Yeah. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can back up everything problem being just said.
Yeah,
It's scary.
We're seeing these. I'll just call them these peddlers are coming into Hollywood, and they are consulting all of these major corporations now, not just in Hollywood, everywhere. And
They use it a lot with. They come in with a lot of threats. It's a bit like a protection racket.
yeah.
If you don't hire us, if you don't pay us 80 grand, we're going to go on Twitter and we're going to accuse you of being Islamophobes. And this I know from someone from within that community that has told me this, and it's quite scary. It is literally name and shame. It's a very Maoist sort of struggle sessions style.
Yep.
Blackmail. If you don't do as we say, if you don't pay us a lot of money, you're in trouble. That's how a lot of this stuff works.
And everybody on the stream has been named and shamed a lot recently. So
Yeah.
they're
yes.
Front line.
Yeah, I've been.
Have starred on Reddit a couple of times, right? So
Oh yeah, it's I think Gary and I still come up on Google.
we do.
Yeah, I've got a hashtag in me honor. Yeah,
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
yeah, that's my
I need to get
hashtag.
behind that, by the way. Let me get on Twitter real quick. I need to back that up a little
I've
bit.
also been compared to Hitler and Jimmy Savile. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an organisation. There is an organisation I have noticed called the Doctor Who Feminist Front.
Yeah.
And
God.
I noticed that they've put a lot of information out there which has come to pass from the last series. They were going to retcon the programme. They say the next part of their plan for the show is called Tasman, and that's for the Doctor, the Jodie Doctor, to fall in love with the companion Yaz and have it.
So on board for that.
Yeah, we've heard that one all right. Yeah, I see, but here's the thing though. The thing about that is, if they do it, what's gonna happen is if the show isn't already dead, it's dead. And this is nothing because we're phobes or anything like this. It's because if you watch the first 2 seasons that we've had of Jodie Whittaker and with Manny Gill in it, there has been no character development between those 2 characters to suggest that these 2 characters are actually in love with each other. So if they were to do it, it's not going to work.
Actually, no. There is a clip. There is a clip that I've seen, and it's where I think somebody says to the 2 of them, "Are you 2 in a relationship?"
Yeah.
And Jodie answers, "We're not in a relationship, are we?" And she goes, "Oh no, I don't think so." So I think the ground's already been laid there. I think I've also seen an article in the Radio Times. So they've already laid the ground for it. All the groundwork's already been laid. Push it out there, bleeding cool. They've already done an article about it. Would you like to see a relationship? So I think these people have already started doing the groundwork already.
Yep.
I agree with Philip. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but there's no character development for us. So
but when has Channel ever worried about character development?
Yeah, that's true. But this is what I'm saying. It's
the biggest franchise in the world, which was Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Built around character development. It was built around things happening completely organically because this is what the characters like. The Red Wedding couldn't not happen, right? And if that one, if that show falls apart because it loses all understanding of its characters in the last 4 episodes, don't think Doctor Who has any hope whatsoever. From Chris.
I was gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, Father.
I was just gonna say I don't think there's been a kiss between a Doctor and a companion since the movie.
No, there's the regeneration.
There was a kiss between Christopher Eccleston and Captain Jack.
Rose.
Oh,
But hang on.
That wasn't really a kiss.
Yeah, but hang on. That kiss always gets misinterpreted. That was a friend. That was a friend. That was basically a friend. Yeah, that's funny.
Right, and there was an Eccleston Rose kiss, but in the parting of the ways, but it was because he was trying to save her.
Yeah, he was saying goodbye, and same with Captain Jack. Captain Jack was saying goodbye to his friend because he knew he was going to his death.
I hope
there's
they don't
Tenant Martha
No.
too.
I hope they
No,
don't
don't forget the line. No, don't forget the line that Christopher Eccleston said. He kissed him and he said, "Well, buy me a drink first."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very John Barrowman in real life, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen him at I've seen him at conventions when he's sort of some guy says, you know, I'm gonna come up and kiss you, and he's like some guy from the military, and he's like, oh, he's got a date later, and you know he's gonna get it.
Say, I don't know how many people have seen the Five Doctors reboot or Five Doctors.
Oh yeah, it's
where
brilliant.
Barrowman has a secret wife and family.
Oh yeah, I love that
Right.
scene. Where he's standing out there and they're trying to get him to go with him, and he's like, "What is this?" He's trying to hide it. It's so funny, so great.
But again, John Barrowman, Captain Jack, you couldn't get a more sexually fluid character possible. And I don't think anybody here on the panel had any problem with him. In fact, I think we all probably quite liked it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
My favorite character.
That we're like, oh no, we can't accept, you know.
Well, what was it? Well, he said hi to somebody, and the doctor told him to knock it off.
Right, because hi means a completely different thing to Jack Harkness.
Listen, by the second episode of his first two-parter appearance, he won me over.
Mm-hmm.
He was a great character, and his character has developed ever since. But then when he came into Series 12, there was something off about.
I don't think he even knew why he was there.
No.
He was just thrown in at the last minute. But with Captain Jack, just as an example, I think that the death of Yanto in Children of Earth is one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the entire Doctor Who canon. And nobody was talking about his sexuality. Nobody cared. It was just, this is how things used to be. It's like, okay, it's part of his character. It's definitely not his character. Whereas now, not his entire character. Whereas now it's the exact reverse.
Yeah. Great to see the team back together from Dan Tanian for £2. Thank you. It's good that we've all gotten together. We've been talking about something like this for a long time. Although the franchise is dead now, everything from Rose to the Day of the Doctor is a long string of happy memories I can treasure forever, says Darth Orbag for $9.10 for 9 and 10. I like that. And it was so many people. I can't tell you, just from the United States perspective, it got so big here. It saved my store. You know, I always talk about the shop, and I don't know. I got re-obsessed with Doctor Who so much so that I'm like, and I told my manager, he thought I was crazy. I'm like, I'm going to take half the store and I'm going to make it a Doctor Who section. He's like, you're nuts. I'm like, no, I've talked to this guy who, has a bunch of Doctor Who toys he's been sitting on. He wants to ship them to me. We worked out a deal. He shipped them from the UK. And I built this Doctor Who section, and it was right after the recession here in the States, which was so bad my store was breaking even. I had to go get a job. So I worked a job and ran the store, took on a partner, and had the manager there. And we did this Doctor Who section, started doing watch parties and sales, and all of a sudden my business started booming. Now, it was because there was no other place here in the Bay Area to really get Doctor Who stuff. You can get it here and there, but I got known as the one place you could. I had the biggest Doctor Who section of anything in Northern California, and it saved my freaking store. So I have a lot to be grateful for with Doctor Who. That's how big it was, and like my store would be packed with people for the viewing parties. Packed. It was like a freaking Super Bowl for the 50th anniversary. And when Tom Baker hit the screen, like people went nuts, and there was people crying. Like it was brilliant, and all that's gone, just gone, and it's sad. It's heartbreaking as hell, because it could have, you know what? They could have kept it going, and it would have lasted another 50 years. Now, it's not going to last 5, in my opinion.
It's a parody of itself. That's all it is. It's not even that. Yeah. It's not even a parody. It's a layer beneath that, and it's just so disappointing because so much goodwill was brought out from the Tennant era, the Smith era, and it was global. It was everywhere, and now it's almost pitiful. It's so sad because it tries so hard, really. I think it does try so hard, and it just
does.
falls flat on its face.
No, I don't think you're wrong there. I think they're doing their very best. I say the same thing. He's doing his very best. He's just very bad.
Yes.
And imagine being a Doctor Who fan and becoming a new Doctor Who fan, like, in 2011, 2012, and you get into the new series, and then you have like the whole classic series to get into. I mean, that's oh God, you got this treasure trove. And now, it has a definitive ending. That's what sucks. And what Philip talked about is that you just took away all the mystery of the show, which made it great. I mean, when Moffat kind of put up the red herring at the name of the Doctor, I'm glad he never answered it really. But it got people excited. That was cool. The ending of Series 6, that very end was epic. Doctor Who. I mean, everybody loved it. I mean, whether you like 6 or not, because it's mixed reviews. I like it, but
Cartmel as well. He came out and said exactly what Philip said. He said that when he was asked in a stream about whether or not this timeless children thing was a fix for the Cartmel plan. He was absolutely stunned. He said he hadn't seen it, but he said, you do not do a story and the backstory of the Doctor. You just don't do it because it's Doctor Who for a reason. And he said that the Cartmel plan was to sort of hint at these things, to give sort of clues to who the Doctor is and little bit of history. But what he did, and what Chibnall clearly hasn't done, was he hired a real Whovian to actually come in and do the research, who knew the lore, who knew the extended universe. And he said, you can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, but you can't do that. And he listened to that person. So he was always going to make sure that he would never upset the canon. And now we're just told canon doesn't matter. I mean, how can you have it? Canon doesn't matter. Canon is literally a history of a story. It's there. It's in concrete. How can you say, as a serial writer for a show that's been around for nearly 60 years, to then just say canon doesn't exist? It's there.
Right.
It's fucking there.
I mean, canon is everything with Doctor Who. I mean, if you don't have canon, I mean,
it's a mess.
There's just there's certain lore and tenets that you need to stick by, and they didn't.
Gary, Starry is in the chat. Sorry, Blue Bonnet. Starry is in the chat.
Hey, Starry.
We stand with Starry. Hello, darling.
So I gotta get going. I have mass in about an hour.
Okay.
I was just going to say, on canon changing, though, you remember the movie, they said that the Doctor was half human. On his mother's side, I think it was.
Right, that was in the 1996 movie. Yeah.
Right, so I mean, it could change again.
It's never mentioned again. I've always just considered that post-regenerative psychosis.
Yeah. So
everybody has.
Thanks for having me. I don't know if I could plug my channel real quick.
Go ahead, plug it.
So during the pandemic, I started. I don't know if I can say that word, but I started my own little channel called The Nerd Father. Original plan was to do some theology, but also I'm a nerd, which is why I called it The Nerd Father, and the fact that I'm a priest. So I figured it was a good name. So I'm under the Nerd Father. So I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow. I'll be gone for a few weeks.
Awesome. Well,
have a nice time. Awesome.
Thank you.
It's a fun channel.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
Yeah, nice talking to you, my friend.
Yes, it's very nice to be able to talk to you for the first time. So, with that, I'll say goodbye.
Take care, Father.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Enjoy your vacation.
Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm communicating with somebody else right now. Star, if you want to come in, we do have a time limit today. So, but you can bring Star if you want to come in. Let me know, and I can email you a link. We're going to go over some super chats here, and hang on. I apologize. I have to finish this message, and I can't talk and write at the same time because I'm old. So,
can I just say, whilst you're doing that, then there's been a lot of toing and froing on Twitter, and I did actually end in some sort of negotiation with the Jodie side, and I think it was fairly positive. I think what we were trying to do was trying to reach an understanding, and that this kind of chaos and madness has to stop. If you want to talk toxic, this is it. This is the front line of the fandom, and it's really, really, really very bad. And all this stuff. I mean, I've seen what has been sent to Noel, and I would never want that for anybody, not even my worst enemy. And there's been stuff said on our side by someone to one of the YouTubers, which was utterly unbelievable. I couldn't believe it, and I disavowed that utterly. This is not helping anyone.
No.
You know, we are fandom. We will always disagree about things. We will always have these issues. We've had them since Moffat. We had them during J&T's time. We've had them throughout forever. I mean, my father still says William Hartnell is the Doctor, and that's it. That was where the first division was. We accept that, and it's been like that ever since. But we have to understand that there will always be this difference. And you may not like it. You may not like what other people say. You may not like what their views are. It's immaterial. They have every right to express it. And I hope we can continue this conversation on Twitter and we can sort these things out. But these sort of slanderous, nasty, vile things that are sent back and forth have got to stop. It's ridiculous now. People are getting really hurt. Noel's wife has been in tears and she's done nothing to anybody at all. And she's a very fair-minded person. I've had the fortune to talk to her. She's lovely. And she just wants her life back. And you're making it so difficult for her. You've got people calling up Noel's number or on Messenger to say terrible things. And she's at the brunt of all of this as well. It's not fair. You're not realizing what you're doing. And then all you can do is gaslight us back and then throw accusations and deflect. And it's just not okay. It's not okay. We just want this to stop. And we appreciate the fact that some efforts are being made. And yes, there are a lot of things to be learned from both sides. But we have to come to at least some understanding that this kind of behavior is not on. You know, I'm a gay man. I've been in the middle of all of this, hearing accusations of homophobia and all the rest of it. It's not true. If that were true, I wouldn't be on Noel's channel ever. Okay, but you can't imagine that everyone who is of my ilk is under one banner. Okay, I'm an individual before anything else. And that's something you guys have to remember. You can't keep putting people into boxes. I don't do it. I refuse to do it. So I don't want people to be called out on things that they're not, because it's simply not true.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well,
Amen.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. And you know, we're criticizing a television show that if we've all loved it for different amounts of time, but this is one of our favorite things and we have every right to say it. We've all, for the most part, I mean, I can't say I've listened to every second of everybody's streams, but I've never heard anything other than talking about the show, talking about what an actress has said about the show. That's what I stick it to. That's what Bowles sticks to. I mean, like, when we have Reddit threads written about us and you Google both of us and the word racist comes right next to it, you know, my kid sees that. Yeah. You know, people have threatened my kid. People have threatened my wife over this show, over other things. I don't bring attention to it, but it happens.
But they're the good guys, Gary.
Yeah, they're the good guys. They're the good guys who say, you know, and it just proves our point, actually, as time goes on. So I'm almost thankful for some of it. I hate to hear that Noel goes through it and his wife has gone through that. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Listen, look at that's now, but let's also highlight the female side of the fandom that also gets it in the neck. I think
Starry, especially.
I think that needs to be highlighted as well. Yes, what's happening to me is horrible. But it's happening to anybody, and it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. But we have seen how nasty and vile these people can be to the female fans that don't like this era, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and it shouldn't be happening.
What I think is really going on with that is, like, I think this is a general thing amongst all the. I'm not talking about. Listen, if you like this era, if you like Jodie Whittaker, if you like, God bless you. No one here has any problem with you. We're talking about the crazy people who can't stand you not liking them. And what I think is going on with that is it's like an entire group of people who grew up without being able to deal with any form of stress. They can't take any form of stress, whether it's an election goes the way they don't like, or when somebody doesn't like their Doctor Who, or their Doctor Who's not popular. They have no ability to be able to deal. But because they have no ability to handle stress, they also can't have human relationships. They don't have friends, and they certainly don't have spouses or like girlfriends or boyfriends. They can't put themselves out there because they're scared of being hurt, and they can't handle that stress. That's really the bottom line. So that's I think what's driving them. They're these sad people, and they're not kids, and they're just trapped in this utter misery where they can't have like friendships. They don't have friendship. They have alliances. It's so weird.
I think when you put someone in a box and you label that box and you talk to that person, you're not talking to that person. You're talking to the label on that box. And what you've done is you've dehumanized, you've depersoned someone. So you've now created a target, which is not someone with a face. They're just an avatar. They're just a silly made up name like mine. They are just a label on a box. And once you've done that, you can set fire to the box without any thought about what's in the box.
Right, yeah. And that's the irony. The bigotry is just so insane. They everything they scream about is so they talk about empathy. They have none. They have no empathy. They don't care about bigotry. They will use anything to beat somebody they don't like. They calling Noel a racist because some stupidity, and it was cast iron proof to them. They couldn't care less.
That was over the issue when this beer bug started. A lot of people were very upset, especially someone like Noel and Cheryl who have underlying health conditions, and people get very, very afraid, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. And some things get said in the heat of the moment, and then you think back and you think, oh God. I don't mean everyone. I don't mean the entire Chinese population, but we're talking about the Chinese CCP who are systematically abusing their own people to such a degree. What they're doing in Hong Kong is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
What they're doing to the Muslim population in China, rounding them up and putting them into camps to exterminate them. Let's think about that a minute. And we get called racist for calling out the horrible conditions in China that the Chinese people themselves are suffering here. Let's not forget.
Right.
So it's not about the everyday people. It's about the horrible conditions in which they're forced to have these sweat markets and things. It's just not on.
Yeah.
So when we criticize that, we're not criticizing the people. They're just as much a victim in all of this as anyone else.
And I was also talking about their racism, the fact of what they did with the Star Wars posters, where they basically shrunk all of either took out some of the black characters, or they shifted them in the poster and made them smaller. Like, I mean, if that's not blatant racism, then
of course
what
it is. And they keep doing business with it. And
these are this is why I was giving out about it, because BBC have actually taken money off these people,
the BBC are giving money to the CCP, basically. And they don't seem to care about the rights of the people in China or the people in Hong Kong. So they take their money willingly. I mean, think about that.
Here's the funny thing, though. All these so-called J-bots will kick up a stink when the Doctor Who posters get released in China, because they'll be just Jodie Whittaker and Bradley Walsh on the poster.
I haven't seen. I'll look and see what it looks like. Let's get to a few more super chats. We're gonna go for a little while longer. But yeah, unfortunately, I do have a time limit today. I have some stuff to do. Lethal Lightning is back for $5 Australian. Yes, sir. Thank you. Gonna put it on Lethal Live. She had a hell of a take on Brie. Aha, you should come on the show sometime. Be our American token. Gladly, Lethal. I'll come on your show and just let me know. And he's of course talking about the brilliant actress Kenzie Taylor, who portrays Captain Marvel much better than Brie Larson. I won't say where though, because
I know.
We'll say we're family friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for the rabbi and his potty mouth. But.
5 stars, man.
Didn't she win an award or something? That
She probably did.
She did.
She did. Kenzie Taylor did win an award. She did. Brian Yoder for $20 says Star Wars is dead. Nothing you could do will get me back. But I'm in denial about Doctor Who. I still see a way for them to get me back. I know that won't do it, but the hope has not been completely snuffed out. So denial. Brian, it's okay. I mean, is there a scenario that could get me back? Sure. But for the show to be healthy and be what it once was, it that can't be done because it would require almost starting from scratch. And this is not a show you can reboot, in my opinion. And I think
definitely not.
It would be much worse if they did it. Michael,
the scripts for the next series of Doctor Who are already written. They've already been written.
Yep.
You mean farted out onto a piece of paper?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Regurgitated or something. Borrowed, stole.
Yeah.
Badly.
And he's tripled down as well. Chibnall did for the last series. He'll go out
that's
on
what
it.
I was saying that a year ago. People were like, "No, maybe he'll change things." I'm like, talk to me exactly a year ago. I'm like, no, he is going to double down.
Oh, it's going to be worse than series 12.
So much worse than series.
I still have a theory that they're going to do a reboot here, and I think if they are going to cast the Doctor, I can't see anyone being able to be in that role other than Ruth now, the Ruth Doctor. I think they're going to remake it so that she becomes the true first Doctor. That's how I see it going. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not saying that is what will happen, but that's what the vibe.
I think that's what he wanted to begin with, personally. I think Chibnall wanted a complete reboot with all female doctors, probably.
I'm telling you, I think we have been introduced to the new Doctor, and I think it is Ruth's Doctor. Yeah, I actually do.
Ruth is
the only hope I think the BBC has moving forward in terms of like having a show that would meet their insane racist agenda and please fans. They hired Noel Clarke, who played Mickey, to be the showrunner and star of Doctor Who. I reckon who's got a lot of form. I think that's it.
Can I just make a point here?
Sure.
Piers Wenger, the head of BBC Drama, has said
I came up with that name.
He will not cast a white male in a lead role.
Yep.
While he's head of drama.
Boom.
Wow.
There we
So
go.
that's who needs to go.
Not racist.
Keep in mind, you just gotta, like I mentioned before, you gotta look at all you have to do is look through life through the lens of identity politics. So the reason they brought Ruth in is because they're not going to be doing a black female Doctor next time, but they wanted to make sure there was one there before they made a change. They feel like if they need to make the Doctor a male again, there is a few boxes they need to check first. Just keep that in mind. So that is the woke point of view, the intersectional point of view, which is very narrow, very narrow. Showing the Doctor being born won't help us. Someone will say the fetus kicking in the womb is regeneration and was conceived female, says Michael Gomez for $5. Yeah, it's ruined. It is ruined. And they did it in the cheapest way. There's still a mystery. We don't know where the portal came from and the little black girl in front of the portal. Yes, it's just lazy and dumb. Digby Strawbridge, thank you for the £5 donation. Adrian Nazurek, thank you for the £2. And he says we're number one with the super sticker. Thank you very much. Sanctuary of Geeks for $10 says, oh my God, my favorite YouTubers and friend Bluebonnet together. Perfect viewing after a hard day's work. You are all amazing. Oh, and David Hasselhoff for the Doctor. That's for Bluebonnet.
Oh yeah, he's trolling me.
Yeah.
The Hoff.
He was. In the 90s, he was rumored to be inappropriate.
What? For the 90s one?
Yeah.
Let's not forget Michael Jackson was up for the role as well.
Yeah, and that's a true story.
Which one would be worse? I mean,
good. This is all the unmade Doctor Who's from the 90s.
Oh,
Excellent.
That's interesting.
I'll be giving this away as a prize on my channel at some point.
I'll have to try to win that one.
I win.
I think I'll be fighting you for that one.
Get lost.
No, I'll take the two.
Wait. Oh, come on now.
Fight.
Canceled Venom asked for 2 Canadian pesos.
No.
Jody or Clara, who'd win? Ooh.
Oh.
In what? Oh, what's the competition?
What?
In a fight? What, mud wrestling? What?
Yeah, mud wrestling.
It's yellow wrestling. That's just the way we're going with it. But
well, even though I didn't like Clara as a character, she has more brawn than Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, she would slap the crap out of her.
Say Clara.
She's got an arm on her.
That would be
And remember, Clara did pretend to be the Doctor in one
and she
episode.
actually could pull off the Doctor. So
yeah, so like
no competition. That
No
would just be
competition.
sad. That would
It's
just be
one
sad.
thing to add to the story naturally, but to pull apart the basic building blocks of your show, what's the sense of world building? Says the Wolf and the Storm for $4.99. Good.
If we look at that, if we look at the world in general right now, it's just because they want to tear it all down. They want to rebuild it in their own image. And
I believe
that's
there's a church
narcissism.
on fire in France today. So
There is a
yeah,
15th century church, and they a mission got burned down here in California, and they do
Wow.
believe it was arson. And yeah, they better not mess with that because
the big issue they have with Doctor Who is they want to destroy the patriarchy of the
Yes,
show.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
absolutely.
problem the feminists have with it.
Bottom
Destroy
line.
the patriarchy.
Philip, do
antithetical-
you think they'll get rid of the TARDIS?
I think Yaz's police uniform, the police box being a symbol of the police, have suddenly become a massive problem.
Mhm.
I think it is being talked about. Yeah, they are talking about
they have to be.
repair, changing the outside of the TARDIS.
And the thing is, when
And
it
once
blows
they
over-
changed everything else, it would not surprise me.
They're going to blow it up
right. No,
somehow.
they will.
Or
They
make a
will.
new TARDIS or something.
And when this blows over, right? When nobody's, it's already starting to blow over, the whole defund the police thing. But they'll still remember it. They'll still be talking about it. So they most.
Yes. They'll
Yeah.
still be steps behind. Yes, that is the BBC all over.
Yep. Top Gear sucks now. It was so fun. Now it's trash. Says Jody Boy for $2. I agree there. I love.
Yeah, I
Go.
prefer the Grand Tour myself now, to be
Yep.
honest.
Andrew Hoyle for £20. I worked for the BBC after leaving uni about 15 years ago. Left a few years later as it was a terrible place to be even before it went woke on its woke crusade. A very, if you don't like the way we do things, you're replaceable vibe. Yep.
Wow.
Comment.
Is that the way it really is? Yeah.
Oh,
So you're not really
No,
secure in
yeah.
your job in the BBC then?
well, I noticed that coincidentally the BBC went completely off the rails into wokeness around the same time they sold off Television Center. It's like that was the symbol of destroying traditional BBC.
Yeah. The Talons of Wayne Chain for $9.99. With writing and ideas, no one minds you adding to the canon, but you must respect what has gone before
Exactly.
and not disrespect the great work that has been done by others before you. Chibnall is no Doctor Who fan.
That's what annoys
$9.99.
me though. Stephen Moffat, RTD are watching what he did with the Timeless Children. How now? I know to a certain extent they can't come out publicly and slam it, but come on, they have to be really, really pissed at him for doing this because it's disrespecting their work as well. It's not just disrespecting Classic Who on its own. It's disrespecting what's came since 2005 as well.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe that people are just sitting back like that and not really publicly saying anything because something needs to change. This cannot continue.
I would love to know. I'd love to know what what our past and beloved deceased creators and writers of the past would have made of all of this era. I think they'd be revolving in their graves like a bloody pencil sharpener.
It's interesting you mention this. Currently, John White is talking to Anthony Horowitz about how you would revive Doctor Who, and he's just commented, Anthony Horowitz, that what might have worked 20 years ago might not work now. So obviously, Anthony Horowitz is quite engaged with Doctor Who here. This guy was recommended by Philip Hinchcliffe as somebody who now had what it took to bring Doctor Who back to the mass audiences. John White's speaking to him as we speak now on Twitter and engaging with him.
Can I just quote I'll just quote this from Terrence Sticks. This was from a video that was on YouTube. It was I can't remember when it was from, but it was from some sort of documentary on Doctor Who, and he was quoted as saying, "If you're concentrating on putting across a political message rather than doing a good show, I think there is a danger. Maybe you can do both, but it will be hellish difficult. And I think maybe there's a danger that the show wouldn't be as good as it could or should be because you're not looking at the right aims."
Yep,
I think you're right. I'll tell you exactly where Chris Chibnall's trying to pin this. He's trying to take the original series of Star Trek as a model because he used to watch that. He's mentioned it in an interview, and he thinks that he can model the 50-minute format with putting those same political messages across. But of course, the original Star Trek was written very, very cleverly by many different authors, and he does not have that skill to pull that off with Doctor Who.
Oh God, no.
Well, you know, like a universal trait of bigots. A universal trait of bigots. Whether you're a race, whether you're in the whatever you are, whatever you're somebody who hates white people, you hate black. A universal trait of bigots is they're baby-brained morons, and they look at the world in a very simplistic point of view.
Right, they are.
And it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. If you, I very strongly believe if you're a proponent of identity politics, you are a bigot. You just are. And again, that forces baby-brained moron that must go along with whatever the prescribed responses are for that minute, which is probably why they like
guys. Yeah, listen, you need to check Anthony Horowitz out. What we found out is he has held talks with the BBC about working on Doctor Who. This guy has worked on Poirot, Midsummer Murders. He's a genre guy. He's produced a lot of stuff. He's a big name in the UK. He's written for James Bond. He writes a series of novels that get sold really well in the UK called Alex Rider. John White's currently speaking to him and engaging with him about Doctor Who. He has been in talks with the BBC, and he's being very cagey about, any future sort of talks and stuff like that. I heard a few years ago that he was in the running to take over as showrunner. Now, I don't know if he's in talks again, but there's something certainly in the air.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good.
Check out Anthony Horowitz on Twitter. Check his IMDb out, and you'll find everything out about him. This is a really interesting guy.
Yeah, I just followed him.
Brilliant.
Do you think he'd be interested in coming on for an interview?
There you go.
I've no idea. It's John White that's actually talking to him at the moment, and he's conversing with John on Twitter.
Nice.
Followed.
Yeah, me too.
Follow him too. Problem being for 2 pounds.
That's me.
Thanks.
Tweet him. Tweet Anthony Horowitz. Ask him a question. See what he's got to say, and see what he's willing to to answer. I don't know. It might be worth asking.
Yeah. I am so proud of my friend Noel. Always be yourself. I don't think Noel can be any other way.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You're one of the most unique people on YouTube, my friend.
Yeah, we wouldn't want you any other way.
Yeah.
Thank you. These are making me go red now. So
George, for 20 pounds, it's George Wrighton. Outrageous how bad Capaldi's storylines became. He started with such gravitas. He was the grumpy old man that we saw behind the eyes of Tennant and Matt Smith. They ruined his second 2 seasons, Planet of the Pudding Brains. Yeah. Oh my God. Bringing Davros back, and then the mockery in that. I hated that. Dana Bailey for $5. Love Potter and Doctor Who. Yeah. There's a huge crossover in both of those fandoms with the normies, not, there's some out there. Listen, there's some out there Doctor Who fans. There's some out there Potter fans. Fandom is something I've been in my entire life. I've been going to cons since I was 6. I went to Comic-Con when I was 6. It was in the El Cortez Hotel in San Diego. It was in this little room. So this is stuff I've been doing all my life, and yeah, there's weird fundamentalist groups of fandom. They've always been there, but it's particularly bad now because the corporations have gotten involved, and they have decided to market intersectionalism, which doesn't work for entertainment ever. Jody Bowie for $5. Hail Gary and all Doctor Who would get Hail Gary and all Doctor Who would get everyone back if they just went back to how it used to be and wasn't woke trash. It would be a gift to us all. It would. I think we could listen with Jodie. I didn't like Jodie. I was never going to like Jodie. I would have gotten over Jodie if they didn't mess with canon. I mean, like they broke canon. They broke the show, and they can't come back from that. And we knew it was coming, and it still didn't make things any better when I saw it happen. And what we referred to earlier, what Philip referred to earlier, what Svi did too. It's the timeless children. We're going to get more, and I don't think they're going to be fixing it. TARDIS Zone watch-alongs with Noel and the fine folk like the Rabbi Bolstrek and Problem Being have kept Doctor Who fun for me. But Chibnall's era, I almost said Chibnall era, is a big turd, says Kip Ellis for £5. Thank you, Kip. Cancel Benham for 2 Canadian pesos. Please don't insult stupid people. #sadness.
Well, listen, if they're being stupid, they're there to be. I'm sorry, they're going to be pulled up on their stupidity. It's as simple as that.
That's just life, man. That's just life. People do that.
That we're old school. Unfortunately, we can't help that society has turned. They've pussyfied society, but there's a few of us out there that still have common sense and have a head on their shoulders, and we know when people come at us not to take it too seriously and stuff like that, and we know when people are telling jokes, we're not offended by everything. So you need to chill.
Just Britney Spears lyrics, man. It works every time.
Yeah, toxic. yeah.
And Bolstrek likes hats.
Yeah. That too. Yeah. I love hats. # I like hats. Question. See when they're going off. Just put in a question. That's very interesting. Now, what kind of hat do you like?
It makes them have to think, which they don't like.
Some of them actually answered.
Universally effective is approach whatever they do. Approach them with genuine kindness and compassion. Because you ask yourself, why are they doing this terrible thing? Like, maybe, again, they don't have a girlfriend, they've never been laid, whatever. They don't have a father. That's very...
I'm always genuine when I go
passion. You go like, I'm sorry. Yeah, your life doesn't need to be this awful. Because that's the only reason that they are this way. Because their lives are just terrible. And you speak to them, they don't know what to do. They never come after me. Because whenever I do that, they just don't know what to. And you got to be genuine about it. That's the tricky bit. You got to.
Yeah, you can't be passive aggressive, and I can't help myself. Sorry, I can be nice and then passive aggressive.
It's very tough.
It is. It's just hard.
Swat the twat, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are different.
Yeah.
People are different.
But you swat them and another twat comes up. I mean, what?
Whack a twat. Yeah.
That's why you use the fly spray, You use the fly spray. Listen, they're going to keep coming at us, and that's just the reality of the situation.
We keep working to make sure that doesn't happen.
Listen. Yeah, and there'll be peace for about a month or two, and then when the Christmas special comes along, then it'll kick off again. It's always the way.
Special.
Well, the festive special. Sorry.
It's fest.
Yeah.
# revolution of the Whovians.
Yeah.
Right. Let's really not watch it. Like,
no.
Yeah, why not? Well, I actually have planned to do watch-alongs of the Christmas specials on my channel. We're going to do it over a bunch of channels.
Yeah.
Actually, we're all going to show a Christmas special. Christmas Day. So if people want to join all the channels that are doing it, we're all going to do a watch along, and we're going to get everybody to watch it with us because it'll be available for everybody, and we're going to do our own little thing for Christmas because Doctor Who and Christmas is a tradition. It's a tradition. I miss it. even David Tennant and Matt Smith. Matt Smith brought it up very interestingly in the HBO video, which was a nice little dig. But he did that deliberately. It's a tradition, and we're going to keep it alive. Simple as that.
Yeah.
200-watt studio.
Should be fun.
It will be very fun. Hopefully we'll be free by then, but who knows? Jody is lazy. She watched one episode. I don't think she'll make the effort to meet with the fans. Lazy actress, lazy person, says 200-watt studios for $5. Robert Morgan. And listen, she's had every opportunity to go mend fences and do the tour, go to cons, and she really hasn't.
She hasn't.
No. Robert Morgan for $4.99. Send me a Jody figurine and I'll blow it to smithereens.
Yeah. Video it didn't happen. Put it on. Do YouTube.
Thanatos Felicitas for $5. All of the male doctors had at least one moment of malevolence about them. Jody, not so much. No,
she's like,
there's more malevolent behind the scenes than
when you look at Jodie on the screen, she's like a plank of wood. There's no, she's just there, but there's no characterization, no character, no nothing, just blank. Yeah, they're all blank.
Fu Hai for £20 says, shout out to all Whovians who had their legacy trashed for a woke agenda. I canceled my license fee. Make them hurt where it hurts. By the way, did you ever see the Capaldi video where Malcolm Tucker is Doctor Who? Yes. It's brilliant. I might play that someday when we have more time.
Yeah.
Typing.
Dan Caninian.
Probably Rabbi.
Yeah.
I do. Didn't touch it.
Yeah. Why is your hands down so low?
Try them off.
Oh no, it's not. It's someone is typing. It's Gary.
No, it's not me. I'm Capaldi's war speech with the Zygons and the two boxes with the truth or consequences for me is the best Capaldi moment in Doctor Who. Absolutely. Dan Penny, and we played that on Friday Night Tights.
It's a good moment.
I had to cut that out of a Doctor Who video because I had the whole speech in, and they nailed me on it. So,
yeah,
obviously.
I actually think that the Heaven Sent speech is better personally myself, where he's talking to Missy and the Master.
Yeah,
I asked them to help.
I like the Zygon one because it's applicable to what's going on right now.
True.
But you're right. That one's good too. Ram Bam 3000 for £5. What do you think of Tilda Swinton or Ruth Wilson from Luther as the Doctor? I don't. I mean, you guys might feel the same way. I could one over maybe with some good writing, but I would rather see him play.
The Doctor is a male role. End of. Listen, I was open to it. Like a lot of us were. I think if you were going to cast a female Doctor, why not Michelle Gomez? It looked like she was handing Peter Capaldi something when she last saw him in The Doctor Falls. She holds his hand, she looks down, she looks up at him, and I thought, oh, she's handing him something. Nothing. So that would have been at least interesting narratively. Or Michaela Cole, she's a kooky woman of color, great actor. She's, she would have been better than Jodie at least. No two ways about it.
I mean, listen, I think if either of those options, somebody you said in the super chat, is if they could go back in a time machine and cast them instead of Jodie. But I think, they pissed it away. They burnt the bridge with
They
it.
never addressed it even. It's just like, what's the point then?
I do think, especially Ruth Wilson, I always thought that she would have been strong in the role.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get to them all, but again, I am on a hardcore time limit. So Thanato, we did that one. Autumn Mirabellis for $20. Still think had the Doctor gone missing from the universe and Romana/Jenny took up the mantle for 3 years on a lookout for him while having adventures, it would have been better. Jodie,
yes, absolutely.
That would have worked.
By
Bring
the way,
back Layla Ward for 2 episodes and then let her regenerate.
I was going to say, that guy who just chatted, Autumn Mirabellis, fantastic artist. He's putting together this incredible technical manual of Doctor Who.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
It's awesome. Yes.
10% on the Trumps cards, by the way, Atom. It'll go up to 12% if you don't get it.
Yeah, but you going back to the comment as well. I've always thought there was an awesome opportunity since the show came back, because they've done regular spin-off series until Class crashed and burned. But a series with Romana, that would have made sense. It could have been a companion series to Doctor Who. Of course, then had Romana still been going on, now they would have wokeified and destroyed her as well. So at least Romana's safe for now.
For now. I really hope they don't mess with it, but they probably will.
We lost Philip.
Lando playing Romana in some Big Finish audios.
Does anybody know what happened to Philip?
I don't know.
Because I heard a lot of people saying goodbye to him. I saw a lot of people say goodbye to him in the chat.
Okay.
He must have either bowed out or he lost signal.
Hey, Philip, thanks for coming on. Yeah, we're going to wrap up in like 5 minutes. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get it to all these.
Yeah, no, the StreamYard is being really wonky tonight. I've lost connection a few times.
Yep.
Same here.
StreamYard. Yeah. I'm going to have to just buy some software. Really does suck. Miracle draw for £5. Jody can do Angry Doctor, but she needs to be presented with a straight white male to do Angry Doctor. Oh, sorry, not Angry Doctor. Angry Karen.
Yeah, no, she does Karen. That's it.
Yeah.
That confrontation, the first episode of this season with Lenny Henry, I just looked at it and went like, why wouldn't the villain just not laugh at her and shoot her?
Right.
Yeah.
We can create a new Time Lord, the manager.
Gary,
I love that too.
Gary, apparently the resolution of the stream is down to 240. People are saying your resolution.
Yeah, it's hang on.
It's I've got it peaking at 720, but yeah, it's up and down.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on this side right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 720, but it's not
720.
great. No, it's San Francisco internet. You know, we're right near Silicon Valley. It's shit. It's total shit.
All right. You think it'd be great out there?
No, I've I don't know what it is. That's why I usually don't run stuff. I'm running it through StreamYards today. I usually run it through my OBS and it's better, but for time, I just decided to do it this way. Probably shouldn't have. How can Jody say that the classic series celebrated the white male gaze when she confessed to not being a fan or watching any EPs to prepare? Challenge of Wang Chang for $4.99. I asked that in many videos, and that's a very good question.
She couldn't even get the name of her own special right. She called it Revolution of the Dalek. Really? Try it.
And in terms of the white male gaze, just facts, because they love facts. So just to remind me again, what was the gender of Doctor Who's first producer? Oh, and the first director of the first episode as well. You may want to look that up. Just saying.
A gay Asian man. Wow.
Yeah. And a woman, Mary Lambert.
And the theme tune by Delia Derbyshire.
Derbyshire.
The legendary
hero. No, man. It was written by Dave.
Oh yeah. But hold on. To the other side, those people don't count because they were part of a regime that was basically oppressive, so they don't count.
Let's just back up here as well to my fans. So the show, which was originally meant to be an ensemble piece. So between male and female, exactly what was the gender split between the original 4 cast members? Just I don't know. I forget.
Gosh, it was
the Alzheimer's,
wasn't it?
It was 4 white dudes, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 4 dudes. That's all it was.
There's only been just all men in Doctor Who since the beginning.
Yeah.
All white men.
And Barbara was such a weak character. There was no strength in Barbara.
What about my white male? What about my white male gaze? I wasn't looking at the women.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about Marinus. Yeah, we've had this conversation before.
Yes. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, we'd no diversity in Classic Who at all.
And Remembrance of the Daleks. I'm sorry, that is the hottest fascist.
I would have to agree.
Blasphemy passed away.
Great man or forged in fire is honor of a lesser man to light the flame war doctor. So yes, great man or are forged in fire. And it is an honor for lesser men to light the flame. The war doctor says Nettle Nerds for $5. Yep.
Boom.
200-watt studio for $2. Gary, this is one of the best live streams. Thank you. You're welcome. We hopefully we'll do this again. We should probably do this again sometime, right? Like, yeah.
Love that.
This will be the last one because I really got to go. Sorry, apologies. This will be made up. I'm doing a square up for Friday Night Tights, and I will do some of this tomorrow. Gary knows this, but I'll mention again. I went on a date with Phil Collinson. He is not happy at all. He is working with RTD again now too. They're very close. RTD's tweets, not of doctors and the animal. No on the doctors and the animal for piss take. That says it all. Yes, he was taking the piss out of that by making it.
I want to see the doctor as a mineral. Otherwise,
so we
it's
were right.
Yeah.
So we were right because we actually did say we all did.
Yeah.
That was actually a piss take. That was actually a dig. So
but RTD and Moffat have taken a few digs on the Twitter with just enough not to get themselves in trouble.
And look at Moffat's very forced video that he did for the lockdown with Strax.
Yep. Well, let's face it, Moffat is a big troll anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Know this.
Well, like what we say, Moffat lies and Chibs is an idiot.
Yeah. That's it.
Alpha Omega Records has one more for $5. Coming to terms with what Chib Fool has done to the show I've loved since I was 30 years ago now. It has been a little like grief. Hashtag defund the BBC. Defund the BBC. That's a good place to end things right there. So we're going to go around the horn. I want everyone to plug your wonderful channels. And yes, we will do this again. We can maybe once a month or something like that. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do.
Sounds good to me.
Start with Rabbi. Rabbi, plug your channel.
Yes, go to my channel, subscribe. I have fantastic videos, and if I can say myself, and live stream. But I give away awesome prizes. This prize we're giving away this month, this week is the Indiana Jones DVD set without Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This one came out before that was made. Past prizes which I have to mail out, this is a Matrix box set and Lord of the Rings. So good stuff happening. Come on over, sub, at least a video a day, normally 2, and at least 2 live streams a week. So come over and sub, and also go check any of my video notes. There's audio stories for you to download.
Awesome. Thank you, Rabbi. And Blue Bonnet Medusa Whovians.
I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can subscribe. It's Blue Bonnet Whovian. And every weekend we do a Doctor Honor streams, and the next one we have coming up is the Matt Smith. They're 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every weekend, up into the last one, which will be a Chibnall Era Bash stream, which should be a lot of fun. So that's what I got coming up.
Nice. Those are therapeutic.
Oh, very much so.
Noel.
Hello, everybody.
I love that picture.
Thank you very much. I'm Noel from the Tarda Zone, and check out my channel. Rabbi and Ballstreck do also guest. We do classic Who streams, and we do new Who streams the weekend. And there's always something happening on the channel. Trust me, there's always some drama with me as well. So it'll be entertaining anyway. And I'm as raw as they are. I don't bullshit. So it comes out me mouth. It comes out me mouth. That's it. That's me. Done.
Thank you. Problem being, do you have anything you want to play?
Just that I often wingman with Noel sometimes on Saturdays for the classic watch-alongs. I don't have a particular YouTube channel myself, but you can find me on Twitter. And you can also find me running the Church of the Temple of the Golden Asdar, which is a new religion I started on Twitter for Az from Hill versus Babyface.
I'll have to follow that.
Asda haha, brothers and sisters.
Wait, didn't you just cast Yaz as the Doctor?
Caught me.
Oh.
Fake news.
Thanks for coming on. You're great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
My good friend Bowles Trek.
Look.
Hi everyone.
Tinkles.
How's it going? So yeah, my name is Bowel Streak. If you talk to my fan club, so I have a YouTube channel. It's just a feel good, happy place. We just talk about how wonderful things are. I'm only uploading every couple weeks, but come the fall, September, we're back at full steam. We're gonna have lots of fun. We're gonna do lots of triggering with the trigger train. It's in for service right now. And if you want to lose faith in humanity, I also have a Twitter. So come check out that dumpster fire. It's entertaining as hell. People love me.
They really do.
So that's all I have. Yeah. Oh, and the goat's on vacation right now, but the goat is planning a trip to Twitter in the near future. So look forward to that.
Excellent.
And that is me. So oh yes, and according to some people, I'm the Antichrist. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the goat as your picture, is there any wonder?
Yeah.
And can I just add, just finally, I just want to actually say thank you for having us, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much.
It's been do you know what? I needed a laugh tonight, and this was the remedy. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
You are quite welcome. I felt like it was needed. I needed to talk about Doctor Who, and I'm not done talking about Doctor Who, not by a long shot. So there'll be more.
Yep.
And we will get together again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Apologies to the leftover super chats. Again, they will be made up on a super chat square up. That will be on Nerdrotic Live. This live stream will be on Nerdrotic Live after we are done here. That is my alternate channel. Due to algorithmic reasons, YouTube does not like keeping live streams up on the channel. It punishes you for it, unfortunately. So, or otherwise, I'd leave them here. So, thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. Not all who wander are lost, and may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
# revolution of the Whovians. Yeah.
Right.